Welcome to the Immortal Podcast.
All right, before we keep going, I want to tell you about Vidal Creatine. If your goal is to get stronger, recover better, perform at a higher level, creatine should be one of the foundations of your supplement routine. This isn't hype. This is one of the most trusted, tested, and effective supplements available for strength, power, and overall training performance. And Vidal Creatine is for people who take their training seriously, whether you're in the gym, on the mat, in camp, or just pushing yourself every day. This is the kind of product that supports real work, real performance, and real results. Well, I'm sitting here talking about the dating apps, Immortal Cast, episode whatever, and here we are. And, you know, Roddy met his girl on dating app. I met my girl on dating. That's the way you meet people these days, right? Like,
yep.
You know, I mean, you can't go out and meet organically and all that. It's a fucking hassle, man. Like, I'm going to sit on my couch and scroll, right? But if you're a girl, so I think, so Roddy's sitting here complaining about, not complaining, but we're talking about how it's kind of a scam, right? You got to pay for this, pay for that. But if you think about this, if you're a girl and you're only scrolling through your likes, you're not scrolling random people left and right. You're not just, going through and picking who you like for the most part, right? Because if you're a halfway decent looking girl, you're getting thousands of likes. That's just the way the game works, right? If you're a dude, you might get one like every couple weeks, right? If you're lucky, right? So, and she's probably not going to be what you're looking for, most likely, right?
Oh yeah,
unless you're looking for cows. But anyway, so if you think about it, if you're a girl and you're scrolling through all these likes and you see like, oh, this dude, like he paid this much for this membership. Oh, I got him on, I don't know, Tinder Gold or Tinder Platinum. Like he's spending this much money. Like he's serious about this. Either he wants to spend a lot of money to try to hook up and fuck me, or he's actually like taking his dating life serious and willing to invest some money into it. And that's the optimistic side of it, the way that I try to look at it. But I know what you're saying now. Like it's a fucking scam, dude. Like I don't know if you guys have. Well, Roddy, you said you haven't been on Tinder.
I mean, it was before my time. I mean, I had been on Match, I'd done eHarmony, but then that's when I moved to Dallas, because it was just like a big city, and and the bars, man, the bars are so packed down there, and I fucking hate that. I don't want to sit in a bar and just watch 30 guys, 100 guys drool over like the only 3 hot girls in there. I was just like, this is fucking stupid.
I've seen the bars, bro. You got some game though. I mean, you're not even like trying to, but you got a aura about you. You got a vibe about you.
It's because you're sitting with me, dude. You're a celebrity, so everybody's looking at us.
Yeah, maybe it's me. I'll take the credit for that one. Maybe it's me.
But like, dude, what Matt was saying earlier, Crane was saying earlier, like, well, I mean, he's complaining about it and all that stuff, but you've got to also play the numbers and remember where you're at. Bro. I mean, if you're on Tinder or you're on any of that shit, you've got to play. It's a numbers game. It's literally a numbers game. And I think if there was just a lot more honesty about it, like, hey, listen, like women and men aren't so different in in the sex department. I mean, everybody wants it, so, some want it casually. Not all women want the fairy tale wedding and stuff. They just want to go get laid and then, go about their business, and they're looking for those guys too. And I think that's.
Now I might argue that. I don't know. I'm not going to say like I'm a fucking dating expert or anything or an expert on women, men's psychology. But I think every girl actually does want that shit. And then some of them just get fucked up in their life and they get caught up in, whether it's money. So they go to OnlyFans or porn or, their morals and their values get caught up in all this different shit. But I think deep inside, they truly do want like the fairy tale wedding and shit.
It may be DNA wired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when your clock really starts ticking, and they're just like, I mean, I know that, my wife has friends that have been like, I remember like a couple of them, like, well, they're married and they're like, we don't want children. We never want to have children. This is when they're in their 20s. And I'm like, dude, at some point you're going to want kids. It's just going to kick in and you're going to want more to your marriage. And they're like, no. And now they have kids and they're just like, oh my God, I can't imagine my life without these children, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I'm like, see, but there are some people that I know that don't have kids. Like one of the guys that I train with at jiu-jitsu, he's 80 years old, Professor Skip. And he started jiu-jitsu when he was 60. Guy's amazing. You know, wrestling coach. He was a principal, just a nice guy. He's my training partner. I love training with this guy. He teaches you so much. Anyway, long story short, he told me, he said, I don't have any kids. And I'm like, you don't have kids? You're like the nicest guy in the world. You're a teacher. This, that. He said, my wife and I, just when we got married, we'd say we just would rather, you know, have our money and save it for ourselves. But, you know, every time kids come in or, you know, he sees families, I see him light up. And I wonder if like he's just like, you know what?
I think that's like an odd way to live, man. Like that's the whole purpose of living, right? Is to
breed,
reproduce, and give and breed. I mean, I think like what else are we even here for? And I mean, I know like, you know, you guys are, at least you, right? Like you're more religious and shit, but like to me, it's like we're just like a bunch of animals on this planet doing this shit.
Well, I mean, and then
just like breed.
Well, it's part of our.
I like practicing more than I like breeding, though.
I don't, you know, I'm 53 now, man. So my wife, she would still have kids. She loves kids. She's just, that's, you know, she just loves them. But I'm just like, man, I'd have to like, that's a lot. I remember
it's a lot, bro.
When the baby was born.
Especially this first like 4 or 5 years. Like,
the shit diapers. You're like, God,
bullshit,
man,
bro.
like change it. I'm like, when is she going to stop shitting in her diaper?
Yeah, waking up in fucking middle of the night.
Well, I had like a unicorn baby, man. She slept. Annabella slept. Like, she still likes to sleep, man. She would go right to bed when we brought her home. We never had any wake ups. Anna would have to wake up to feed her. So it was kind of like, we never had a problem with that. So that was kind of cool. But I've heard nightmares about that stuff too. And I'm like, God, thank God.
Bro, my daughter was a fucking nightmare. Like, she still kind of is in a lot of ways. Man, she would wake up all the fucking time in the middle of the night and sleep all day. I mean, you know, I had twins before, you know, like I was used to like dealing with kids and like training them, you know, the schedules and everything. And man, she was like so much harder than the two of them. Like you know how hard one kid is. Like twins is a fucking bitch. She was harder than both of them.
Yeah, combined. I can't imagine that. Twins, man. My sister has twins. It's like that was her second. She had her first kid and then she had twins. And the your kids aren't that far apart either, though, are they?
Well, my daughter she's what, 10 now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my boys are 15. Okay,
yeah. My sister had her littlest is 3, and then she had her twins while she was 2. Well, the kid was 2, man.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a madhouse over there.
Intense. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's such a madhouse over there. But I don't know, man. I like kids. You know, I get to coach jiu-jitsu every once in a while. I did this past weekend. You know, there's like 30 kids. I like it. I think it's fun.
It's fun, right?
I enjoy it. I enjoy all the different personalities.
But that's the thing is, it's fun. When it's like mowing my lawn, right? Like, I love mowing my lawn. I don't like having to mow my lawn.
Yeah.
It's same with kids. Like, I love working with kids and helping them out. But when like I have to,
yeah,
you know, it better be my kids, right? Like when it's other kids, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to deal with your fucking kid today.
Well, the problem is like, to your point, when you're training these kids, like especially in like jiu-jitsu, for example, and the parents just drop them off, and you've got like, you know, several kids in there. Say you have 20 kids in there. There's at least 3 or 4 that are dicking off the whole time, which they're messing up the whole fucking class. And like, I'm eyeballing the parents. Like, I mean, I can say something to your kid, or do you want, you know, like, it's just like, and I'm pretty stern with the kids. I don't mind being like, hey man, you're acting like this and it's messing everybody else up. So do you think that's fair? And I let the parents see me doing it though. I want them to see.
The worst is when the parents bring you in for you to be the disciplinarian.
Well, I don't believe in that at all. I think it's just like, dude, like I could teach your kid structure,
right? You
know, but like you've got to teach the kid like manners.
But there's a lot of parents that's their expectation.
Oh, I know, dude. I see it. I'm like dumbfounded when I see how they fucking talk to their parents after class and shit like that. I'm like, God, I'd fucking smack that kid.
It's like, bro, we got. There's 23 other hours in the day that you got to take care of this shit. This 1 hour is not going to change it. It'll not help. Man. It'll be beautiful. It'll be profound for the kid, but
it's a team effort.
That's not going to change everything.
It's a team effort, man. Like, yeah, like I believe that the martial arts and the instructors that come in there, we've got Coach Benny, for example. Benny's he's a brown belt as well. And he was coaching the class the other day, and two of these kids were dicking off. And in between rounds, he made them do 5 minutes push-ups, 5 minutes sit outs. The whole 5 minutes until it was over. And the parents were looking at him like he was being mean or something. And I'm like, that's exactly what they need to do.
So we did change that in my gym, where I've always been a big believer of this, and it's been a process learning how to do it properly. But I never believed in fitness as a punishment, right? Making kids do push-ups or sprints or whatever. And the reason for that is because I've always believed that exercise should be looked at as something positive.
Yeah.
Right. And when, they're forced to do it, not under their own will, right, then they become a negative connotation to it, right? So now they think of it negatively. And I mean, how many people do you hear, these fatties walking around like, oh, I got to go to the gym. That sucks. I don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's wired from the youth, I think, right? So we have to wire them to think of exercise as something fun. And
that's right. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, to think of it that way, it does make sense. Because then, I don't know, when they get older and it's like, hey, man, do 100 push-ups a day. Oh, God, I hate push-ups, man.
Yeah.
Fucking
like, why do you hate push-ups? Well, I was forced to do them because I was a fucking piece of shit kid.
It's like liver, dude. Like, I hate liver, dude. Fucking dad used to make me eat liver when I was a kid. Mushrooms.
Yeah. You'd be like feeding it down your throat.
Fucking A, dude. No bullshit. No bullshit. But how does that, what do you do? What do you do instead? What is put the nose in the corner?
It's been a process, man. I mean, it is difficult. It is way more difficult because it's like, okay, what do you do? And basically we have a 3-strike system now is what we've ended on. First strike's a warning, obviously. Second strike, you sit out for a minute. Third strike, you're off the mats. And realistically, what it has done, we started this with the Little Warriors program, which is like 4 to 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, which is hard.
It was really hard, right? But I mean, we kind of had to, right? Because I mean, so many of these kids pee themselves on the mats.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a fucking grind, right? But we got the best instructor ever, Lauren. I mean, she's just absolutely amazing with it and so patient and just the best person ever. But we started using it with them, and what we found was, we have lost kids because of that, right? Like, you have to step off the mats for the rest of class, and the parents are like, well, I'm fucking paying for this. It's like, okay, but your kid is holding back other kids.
So is everybody else's kid. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And what'll happen over time, what we found was like, if we let those problem kids stay on the mats, the other kids, now they're not getting as much fun and not getting what they should be getting out of it. They'll end up quitting. It might take a couple months, right? You might not see it immediately, but they'll end up quitting and they'll go to a place that's better. If there is a better place, which I would argue that there isn't. But the point is, getting rid of that single problem child, even if he cancels, is a better long-term investment than it is to lose other kids or the entire class be slowed down.
What's up, everybody? It's Roddy from the Immortal Podcast with UFC legend and knockout artist Matt Brown. Quick plug for our official sponsor, VitaFuel. They just dropped their new creatine. Builds muscle, ramps up strength, and sharpens mental focus. Works great for guys, girls, young or old. It's never too early or too late to get after a fitness routine. Head to VitaFuel.com. Use Immortal10 for 10% off your first order. VitaFuel, VitaPhuel.com. And hit subscribe on the Immortal Podcast. New episodes every week. Let's go.
Oh, I've seen it, man. I've seen it to where parents are looking at that one kid that's acting a fool, and then looking at the coaches.
All the attention.
Yeah, and they're looking at the coaches like, this kid is what's going on? Like, are you guys going to get this under control? So, yeah, I think no, you got to I think you got to cut the fat sometimes just to
Yes,
no problem. It's I mean that's in business. I mean you fire people for stuff like that too, just to keep the business afloat, no matter how good they are. It could be a personality conflict.
Yeah, they have to fit into the culture, and on the mats, whether you're a paying member or a paid instructor, if you're not fitting into the culture, then you're a Cancer.
Yeah.
Right. You're either helping or you're hurting. Like there's no real gray areas.
And I honestly, man, I see, and on a positive note, man, I see a lot of parents bringing their kids into jujitsu or even just martial arts just to kind of like, learn. Like it's more of it's almost like piano lessons or guitar lessons. And they get excited that their kid's learning something and, interacting positively. My kid makes better friends in jujitsu. I mean, she's very sociable and she has good friends at school, but like her friends at jujitsu are loyal. They're very loyal. Yeah. And she never,
from training too, that there's a bond and a connection that you create when you sweat and work hard with someone and all the, even just like the physical contact and stuff with someone in jiu-jitsu or even Muay Thai or wrestling or whatever it might be, that can't be built through just simple communication.
No.
Right.
I mean, you're trying to kill each other on the mat. You're literally trying to kill each other on the mat.
It's just like when we were kids, right? And we get a fight on the playground, then we're like best friends the next day.
Yep.
Like the way that I always explain is like, dude, I do that every day with my friends,
Yeah.
So we become better friends because we try to fuck each other up all the time.
And you respect that, and I think I think those bonds, like I tell my daughter, I'm like, that your jujitsu bonds or your martial art bonds, I'm like, these are the kids that'll always be by your side. They'll always be, because when she comes home from her school, she'll tell me about drama from all these little girls. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't remember having that much friend drama. I didn't have friend drama. It was my drama was other
girls, man. The girls have the drama starts at a very early age. It's fucking ridiculous.
Little girls are mean, dude.
Dude, they're so crazy.
They're so mean, and it starts early, dude.
Wild.
Like some of them are sweet, and then she'll come home and tell me a story. I'm like, fuck that kid. Don't hang out with that kid anymore.
And I think there's an analogy is funny. A girl, she was like a state champ, and she fought for us a couple times, and she's crazy, but she gave me a great analogy one time where she was like, I have to walk my dog every day. Her dog is her mind. She's like, I have to walk it every day. If I don't walk it, it wants to chew on the fucking couch.
Oh.
She's talking about her own brain, right? But I thought that was a great analogy. And it's the same with kids. Like, you got to walk that dog every day. You can't just tell them to go to the room and play video games.
Nope.
Like, that's not walking the dog. That's not getting the energy out. That's the focus is lost. But I just thought that was a great analogy.
No, you're
you
right.
Walk the dog, bro.
You're right. Especially with the kid walking the dog. And I think a lot of parents lose that with this technology. Like, my kid has technology, and I introduced it to my kid kind of early, just because I didn't want her to get it when she was like 15 or 16 and just go crazy, So I kind of like spoon fed it to her. She's got an iPad, she's got a phone, but that's all like monitored. I monitor it all. And if she fucks up, I take everything away and it's gone. And it's just like, you're taking a break now. And when, and she gets it, like she understands it and it works. But like, to your point, like some of these kids just sit in the fucking house. My kid's outside playing every day. If it's nice out, she's got to go outside. Go outside.
Absolutely.
Go outside.
Yeah, I lock the doors. I actually lock the doors.
You have a great yard too. You have a nice big yard.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys got 2 hours. You're not coming back in the house. I don't care what you do. Start a fire, burn the fucking woods down. I don't give a shit. But figure it out.
For real, dude. Just get outside and be kids. I mean, like being a kid, man, I was always outside, dude. I wasn't allowed in the house.
Same.
It was like, go outside. And then we'd just disappear for hours. You wouldn't even see us.
Be back home when the street lights are on.
That was it, dude. That was real. That whole thing was real, dude. When the street lights pop back on, like my mom was lucky, but like, we wanted to play, kick the can, fucking hang out with your friends, dude. That was
my mom is like the most embarrassing thing in my tiny little town I grew up in. She literally had a bell that she'd ring. You could hear it through the whole fucking town, but it was like a bell, with a rope from the middle and you swing it and you could hear it from the whole town. That's when I knew it was time to come home from dinner for dinner. And dude, all my friends were like, "There's your bell, you little fucking faggot dork,"
Dude, I mean, but that's good, man. You look back on that, and you're like, man, that's like, being outside, man.
So many of like the little problems and stressors as a kid. I mean, it developed a lot in us, and I think kids don't have enough of that these days. Like, parents try to make it so easy for them and so spoon fed.
Well, I think the stress.
Like, they don't want to like embarrass their kids. Like, it's fucking garbage, man.
I know, man. Like playing with the kids and all that. But I think their stress comes from the wrong places too, man. Like my kid's been taking these tests. They do these like STAR tests or whatever in Texas. I don't know if they're all over, whatever. I know they do like yearly tests everywhere. They're sitting in a fucking chair all day long. What the fuck is that? You want them to take a test after they're stressing all day long and then be functional in that test. That makes no fucking sense at all. That's crazy to me. It's just crazy to me, man.
It really is. Is that our guest coming in? Because I think our man, his name is Matthew also, like me. So that means he's cool. That like tells me all I need to know. But I think he might have a little bit to say on this because, he's a hypnotherapist, mental coach, bare knuckle champion at 185.
Cody Matthew Vidal is actually my name. I go by Matt online, so that when
Vidal, okay.
Yeah. Vidal's actually from Madrid, Spain. Well, it's actually Latin, but my ancestors were from Spain. My dad, hello, Bill. My dad walked into the nursery when I was the day I was born, and I had dark hair. He had blonde hair, and he saw me. And according to my grandfather, my mom's dad, he said, "That's not my kid." And so he walked out, and I went from William Christopher Landry Jr. to Cody Matthew Vidal, which interestingly enough, Matt, I just did some more research on me last night. And I always knew I was related to some of the U.S. presidents, but the one I'm most proud to say that I'm related to, because I just discovered this, is General George Washington.
Oh, shit.
He's my cousin.
And that's a good one to be related to. At least it's not like fucking Jimmy Carter or something. You know?
Jimmy Carter.
Hey, man.
Washington.
You might not like me after I tell you this one, but I'm related to Hillary Clinton.
I mean,
I don't know how happy I'd be about that either.
Washington was cool though. He was a good one. That's a good one to be related. He was a very interesting guy.
Are like all the presidents related though? Like, I think I seen something about that. They're all kind of like related in some weird way. I mean, I guess we're all related, but
They all are, man. The people of Quebec, Canada, when they migrated there, that was like the ancestors I have. They screwed like rabbits, dude. So, yeah. But I think it goes deeper than that. I think that most of the world rulers, if not all of them, are related.
oh, for sure, yeah. At least you got like an interesting story there to tell. Like I did my 23andMe not too long ago, and it was like, you're just white as fuck. Northern European. It was like 99.9% Caucasian. And the funny part is, like, some of my family, they get deep into the Native American Indian shit, and they've always said that we got this Native American blood, and they really embrace that. And then I got the 23, and I was like, you got zero, bro.
Chief Little Turtle.
I know my family, my Germanic family, like Pennsylvania's the Pennsylvania Dutch, etc. My Germanic family, they claimed we're Cherokee, but that hasn't popped up on the DNA yet.
Everybody in the Midwest is a Cherokee.
That's what I'm saying. That's what my family kept promoting, is that we're Cherokee.
I heard the same thing, man, through my downline, because we had a Fox somewhere in the downline. There was somebody with the last name Fox, which I don't know, wound up being adopted or something like that. But I'm like, nobody here looks like an Indian.
That's funny that you say that. That's like a running joke all across America, is the Cherokee. There's a girl that I talked to. She's my friend. Talked to her from Sweden. She lives in Sweden. I think her mom lives in Florida and her brother lives in Hawaii. Anyway, they're Swedish. And I guess their dad was American from Indiana. And she's 99% Swedish, but she's like, I love my 1% Cherokee. She calls it Cherokee, and I just laugh hysterically.
That's like that congresswoman. What was the one that? What was her name?
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
Oh, yeah, Pocahontas.
Elizabeth something. Elizabeth Warren or something.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like that woman was just. I mean, she was shouting it to the clouds, to the smoke clouds, that she was Indian.
Or was it the other lady saying that she was black or something, and she wasn't? She was like working with the NAACP.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did
you watch that documentary? Did you ever watch that documentary? Oh, dude, that is crazy. She went full like Pineapple Express.
Dude, that's so wild.
Is that the same movie where the dude goes down the basement?
Was
and
that
he gets beat
was
up
that
by the
Pineapple
monkey?
Express, or was the other one? It was the other one with Ben Stiller. Oh man, Robert Downey Jr. Played black guy. Anyway, yeah, she went.
I'm not a movie guy, so I can't help on
anyway,
that.
Like that woman, the documentary is very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, fuck her. That's all I gotta say. Fuck her. So anyway,
my favorite statement is Metallica's first album is "Kill 'Em All." So whenever I see something I don't like online, and it starts with a P and it rhymes with Edo, I always just tag Metallica, and then I say, first album is #Kill 'Em All. That way the algorithm doesn't catch on and cancel me.
There you go.
Nice.
It's always a loophole.
I mean, you're a big metal guy, right?
Fuck yeah.
You
So
told me they said Pantera rules all. I was like, yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, I love the guitars in the background, bro. So let's talk about that real quick. So my first championship that I won was an amateur championship in mixed martial arts. It was in Gonzales, Louisiana, and I actually had Phil Anselmo, singer of Pantera, drive 2 hours with his wife and his neighbors to corner me. Phil Anselmo and I walked out. We walked out to the song "A New Level," my favorite song off the 1992 album "A Vulgar Display of Power." It's the second track, "A New Level of Confidence and Power." It was my anthem my whole life. And to have my musical idol walk out literally like in a dream that I've had multiple times and corner me and have me win. That was
sick, bro. You boys with Phil?
I was for a very long time. We haven't spoken a while. After his incident in Hollywood where he was throwing up Sig Heils, he changed a lot. I talked to him after that, but I haven't seen him since October. I haven't seen him since Halloween of 2015 when he played with Danzig in Hollywood.
No, that's cool, man. I only met him once. Like, I'm the same, bro. Like, Pantera was probably one of the biggest influences on my life, man. And Dimebag got me playing guitar. I was there when Dimebag got shot. I don't know if you ever heard that story. I was there.
I didn't know you were there, bro.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, man. I was like right there in the crowd. I was probably like 10 feet away from when he got shot, bro.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Al Rosavilla, bro. You know that Al Rosavilla.
I know Al Rosavilla. My buddy dated the owner's daughter while we were in high school. Yeah. We used to go there all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild story, man. But they really. So basically, the way it went for me, I don't know if you know my background at all. Like, I overdosed and was deep into drugs, partying, went to jail a bunch of times, and a lot of that was like I had so much negativity in my life. I was a huge metalhead growing up. Since I discovered it in 95, 96 or something, right? And metal was like, to me, was like there was a lot of like negativity in metal. At least I was drawn to like the negative stuff, right? Even like the Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel and
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, I mean I fucking love them still, but it was always, I think it was like implementing a lot of negative emotions in me. And then when I discovered Pantera and Hatebreed was the other one, which we had Jost on a couple weeks ago. Baby. Yeah, Jost is my man. Like that was the first time I heard like positive metal. Right. And I was like, dude, like this doesn't have to be like just an anger, hate thing. Like, I was an angry kid growing up and shit. And that's why it resonated with me. But when I discovered that music with Hatebreed and Pantera primarily, I was like, dude, this doesn't have to be just a completely negative thing all the time. And I'm the same as you, man. Between Vulgar Display of Power and Far Beyond Driven, like those were inspirational from fucking start to finish of my career, man. Just absolute fucking bangers, every fucking song, except Planet Caravan was really a banger, just a great song, and just fucking on point. And then finally I got to see them on the Reinventing the Steel tour, first concert I ever went to. Fuck, bro. I just remember it was it's probably still to this day one of the best concerts I ever went to. It was Morbid Angel opening, Soulfly, and then Pantera Reinventing the Steel. Fuck, bro. It was just like for a first concert. I mean, of course, like I was all methed up when I did it, but I went in there and like I just remember like looking at the crowd, and there's like feet in the air, and there's fucking, you can't get anywhere without someone pushing you and shoving you. There's like girls flashing their tits. I was like, I'm in heaven, bro. Like, I don't need to go anywhere else.
Everybody hates that.
It was so awesome, man. But yeah, it was such an inspiration, man.
Thank you for that story, man. I could talk to you about this all day long. There's 3 key points I want to hit here. But before we do that, you said that you got into Pantera or metal around 95, 96, correct?
Yeah.
So 95 was 1 year after Far Beyond Driven.
Yep.
96 or 97 is when The Great Southern Trendkill came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The greatest intros ever. Yeah. And really, not to cut you off, but like right around The Great Southern Trendkill was when I first really got into Pantera. And again, it was like a very negative album. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was very dark, right? I mean, it was just the time that Phil was going through in his life. And, that shit resonated with me until I discovered, their newer stuff and Hatebreed and, use metal as a positive thing in my life.
Yeah, man. I talk about demons a lot, bro. I just go right to it. I go right to the heart of the depth of reality, man. Mm-hmm. And like the song on Vulgar Display of Power, By Demons Be Driven, Phil had a very prophetic way of writing lyrics and revealing truth that maybe didn't expose itself in the immediate moment, but
agreed.
Like Phil, very, very prophetic in his songs. And it's pretty interesting. Phil wrote like in a magazine, it might have been Revolver magazine, how he talked about how he had died as well a couple different times. And he mentioned in one of the interviews that him and a friend went to a witch's grave in Louisiana, and it was said that if you basically ask this witch out loud and do this ceremony, that she would bless you with whatever you wanted. And that's right before Rex Brown of Pantera hit him up about joining Pantera, and then flew him in from Louisiana to DFW, and then it was on. Pantera was on from there, So the demon talk I could talk about all day long, because I think that I discovered a closeness with God due to demons, and being from Pennsylvania, and probably Ohio's probably a lot the same. I was just talking to my buddy last night about this. If you don't believe in demons, right, that's one thing. But if you grow up where I grew up in Pennsylvania, the coal region especially, I think everyone has a ghost story, but there's no such thing as a ghost. It's just angels and demons if you know Christianity a little bit. And the devil is in la musica. Slayer wrote about this.
Diabolus in musica.
Exactly. And it is so true, and I'll tell you a story about that later. But let's go back to Josta, Hatebreed, right? Hatebreed, absolutely amazing. And a weird thing about this is I was thinking about this podcast today, and I was just like, thought about Jamie Josta, because I know how positive he is. I know how he used to actually sponsor a lot of fighters, including Emmanuel Newton, the light heavyweight champion of Bellator, who is the reason why I'm in California. I had Emmanuel Newton's shorts, 2 pairs of shorts, the one he won the world title in against King Mo, and it had the Hate Wear logo on there. So I was thinking today, I was like, man, when am I getting on Jamie Josta's podcast? So if you want to put in a good word for me, that'd be amazing.
Easy, yeah. Jamie wrote my walkout song too, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's under the Josta banner. I was just telling this story last week. So because of like the hate wear and the term hate breed and everything, that actually was banned from the UFC. Like nobody could walk out to hate breed for a long time. I don't know if you know this story. Like the CNN did an article or a news story about white supremacists, right? And they had the music. And there's a huge like white supremacist underground hardcore scene. Jamie's probably Hatebreed, I should say, is the biggest hardcore band. So they got lumped into this story. So the UFC's like, okay, nope, we're just not touching this. Like, just pick a different walkout song. They didn't really care, you know what I mean? But they're like, look, just pick a different walkout song, because I tried to walk out to Hatebreed many times. So when I finally hooked up with Jamie, and I was like, look, man, we need to make a walkout song. But it can't be Hatebreed. So we did it under the Josta banner.
Oh, there you go. Amazing. Joss is awesome, man. Joss has massive influence on me because, like you said, you know, we as fighters, we need that positivity. You know, these are fighter anthems. These are anthems that we, you know, we live to and we live by and win by. Like I remember my very first fist fight that I was in my teenage years. I was about 13 years old, and I was provoked heavily to fight this kid, and they wouldn't let me not fight him, so I just went crazy and pounded, you know, destroyed him in his own backyard. He was bigger than me, and weight. We had muscle. I didn't even have muscle on me at the time, and I remember literally. I stepped back and I was in my fighting stance and I started going a new level and I could hear that and I was moving to it and then I was striking on an offbeat. So I'd like set the pattern to the and I'd land a strike on like an offbeat and I'd do it differently. Maybe like on the second measure, maybe on the third measure the next time. And then he had no answers to it until I finished him. And then later on in life, I ended up walking out to my title fight and winning my title fight with Phil of Pantera, the singer and writer of that song. So, you know, dreams come true. And we mentioned hypnotherapy. We'll talk about that later on, I'm sure. But, I mean, the government has come out with documents proving that these forms of meditation, this hypnosis can actually literally alter reality. And I always tell people this, it's not magic. Like everything we do begins in our mind as thoughts, right?
Absolutely.
Thoughts become emotions, emotions become actions, actions become results. But that energy that you're projecting, that doesn't say project, that says project. The energy that you're projecting comes back to you. So projection is attraction. So last point I wanted to make was throwdown. Have you ever heard of throwdown? Listen
Of
to
course.
Throwdown?
Of course, yeah.
Fucking love throwdown.
Love
so
him.
Dave Peters lives right here in Huntington Beach, California. He has a gymnasium known as Scats Gymnasium. So he actually has Olympic gymnastics people. And I see him at Sushi on Fire downtown all the time. And I used to train with him at King's MMA when I trained over there. And that's just another one. It's just like, dude, we got the singer of Bleeding Through, Brian Schiapetti out here, Brandon Schiapetti. We got fucking not Jamie Johnson, Dave Peters of Throwdown out here. Like, there's so much good positive music out there that kind of just got brushed under the rug. But I mean, with Napster, with LimeWare, with all these like companies that basically took the businesses and the livelihoods away from these bands, those guys were like the last of the good.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, they have to adapt and overcome, man. You know, like the music industry is so different now. You got to do a completely different business model than they did back then. But let me touch on something you mentioned there real quick. I'd be curious because, I mean, I'm guessing you're somewhat of a mental coaching expert, right? I mean, you do hypnotherapy and stuff. So you said, you know, thoughts become emotions that become actions, right? And do you think it always has to become an emotion? It could just be a thought to an action?
Of course, yeah. So the average person has 60,000 random thoughts a day, right? I have ADHD. I would wager that I have more than 60,000. Yeah, yeah, right? Now, it takes just 6 seconds, as I said in the Frankie Edgar podcast, Champ and the Tramp, it takes just 6 seconds to think of a thought, whether it's real or not, to produce an emotion. When that emotion is produced, that's what makes it feel real. So, okay, the boogeyman, for example, grow up, somebody tells you about the boogeyman in the closet. There's no fucking boogeyman in the closet, right? But you think about it long enough, you're going to feel fear, and that fear is going to then translate into pulling the blankets over your head, curling up, and you do that long enough, and now you're going to look like that in society and interactions. You're going to be curled up in scary situations. Maybe there's a fist fight, and next thing you know, you freeze instead of fight. And, you know, that's what I mean by thoughts become emotion. I don't say all thoughts become emotions, but thoughts become emotions in that aspect.
Yeah, because you'd be like, if every thought became an emotion, you'd be curled up in a corner, like,
exactly,
like just freaking out. So it's depending on the thoughts that you're dwelling on. Then I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah, and not all emotions become like actions, meaning like chosen conscious actions. But body language never lies. Body language always tells you the emotion the person's feeling, unless that person is very good at hiding it, such as maybe like a CIA agent or FBI agent, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, and I guess that's kind of like one of the cool things of a fight, right? Because you don't have time to process the thoughts, right? Like you just acting on instinct. And I think that's one of the beautiful things. And I mean, that's one of the cool things I love about music, right? When you get into the flow, like you're in the middle of a song, maybe you wrote it, maybe someone else's song, whatever. And like, you're not even thinking about it no more. You're just fucking feeling that shit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Flow state is
Flow,
the best
man.
state to be in, man. Like when the image I'll never get out of my head when I think about you is when you flowed with that elbow right into Diego Sanchez's skull. Like you don't do that unless you're in a state of flow. It's not something you sit there and think about and land, because
Yeah.
the more you think about it, the more you're gonna get countered with like a left hook as you're coming up, you know. So a state of flow is, if I may teach, because I have
Yes,
this
please.
weird habit of just fucking spouting out my mouth, you know. But
No, please do.
I call it the 5 F's of the mind. I use my own terminology all the time, acronyms, etc., concepts that I create. You have 5 F's of the mind. The F that you want to be in is flow. Why? Life is easy because you're calm, you're confident, you're self-controlled, and you're certain. Certain of what? Certain of who you are, and certain of what you do, and certain of what you attract by what you create. Now, an individual that's in a state of flow is electromagnetic. They're electric and magnetic. So I want you to think about a camera, for example, right? Or a projector, a movie projector. Imagine this is a movie projector and my hand is the screen. Notice how the closer my hand becomes, the more light lit up my hand also becomes, right? So your mind, your third eye, we'll talk about that later, is projecting thoughts, which are electrical, right? They're not physical, they're electrical, it's pure energy. And the intention is being projected from the projector onto the target, which is the screen. Now that screen becomes magnified to what's being projected. And so now there's a two-way path. There's a two-way street, right? There's light coming out, hitting my hand, and the hand is reflecting the light back to it. That is exactly how our minds work. So when a person activates their imagination, activates hypnosis, activates their intentions, what happens is the longer you think, the stronger you think about what you want, the target, whether you realize it or not, the target is being magnified. And it's pulling you now and all your intentions closer to it. So, for example, when I used to have dreams about Phil Anselmo being in my corner, about being on stage with Phil Anselmo and singing with Pantera, which I sung with Rex Brown and Phil Anselmo on stage multiple times, obviously not Dime or Vinny, God bless them. These were projections. These were dreams, actual dreams I was having, and then it happened later in life. None of that would have happened if I was not thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
If I was not feeling it was real. And so that's my quote, is to feel makes it real.
All right, before we keep going, I want to tell you about VitaFuel Creatine. If your goal is to get stronger, recover better, perform at a higher level, creatine should be one of the foundations of your supplement routine. This isn't hype. This is one of the most trusted, tested, and effective supplements available for strength, power, and overall training performance. And VitaFuel Creatine is for people who take their training seriously, whether you're in the gym, on the mats, in camp, or just pushing yourself every day. This is the kind of product that supports real work, real performance, and real results.
The strongest energy that can be generated in a human body and measured is authenticity. So earlier you said, okay, are you an expert hypnotherapist, whatever? Brother, I never in my life actually took a class in hypnotherapy. Never. And people are like, what? That makes no sense. Okay, check this out. When I had hypnotherapy done on me by Dom the Hypnotist, I give credit where credit is due. Dom the Hypnotist was Khalil Roundtree, Sam Alvey. He was Eric Anders. He was their hypnotherapist, and he worked on a lot of other professional fighters. He worked on a lot of NFL football players, etc. Dom was able to activate my electromagnetism. He was able to activate my authenticity by just doing the hypnotherapy on me alone. But because he helped me heal so much in such a short period of time, he helped me improve so much in such a short period of time, getting rid of anxiety, getting rid of depression. He helped me by telling me that I was a genius. He helped me bring my inner genius out by just doing hypnotherapy on me when I had my eyes closed and listening. When he was healing me, I was literally learning what he was doing. And I was literally, as he was saying, right before he would say certain things, I knew exactly what he was going to say and why he was doing it. I was analyzing him and learning him, downloading his information as he was doing it to me while I'm in a state of hypnosis. And I remember coming out of it one day and like, hey, man, can I, like, do you need help? Can I work for you? You got any employees? He's like, I don't have any employees. I'm like, can I sell this for you? And so you could like just do the therapy itself. I'll do the consultations. Like we could try. So I flew out flew out or drove out, one or the other. Flew or drove to Las Vegas where he was, and I'm again in California. And I shadowed him for 2 days, and I just laid on the floor and I watched him and listened. And I went back home and I started doing consultations. He never saw me do a single consultation. I worked for him for about 5 years, and he became a multimillionaire over those 5 years, you know? And so long story short, man, is that when you are doing what you love, when you know what you're doing is true and what you're expressing is true, you're activating this authenticity. And it's the strongest energy that a human body can generate, even stronger than love. So when you are in that mode, expressing authenticity and what you love, that is the best energy in the world. True love, the two strongest energies that you can generate coming together, true love. And hopefully y'all can feel that coming out of me now.
And so you did have a mentor though, right? You didn't read books or whatever, but or take a course, but you had an actual mentor that taught you how to do these things.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Dom the Hypnotist.
Dom the Hypnotist. I feel like I've heard of him before. Work with a lot of fighters.
Yeah, he was my mentor, and I was his tour mentor.
Nice. And what's there to expect from it? Like, I mean, do you still do hypnotherapy yourself? Like, you still have, because you're 185 champion at BKFC right now, right? So you're still fighting, you're still actively competing. So are you still having someone else do sessions on you?
Not exactly. I do on myself sometimes. I have
Really?
I have my own hypnotherapy tracks. But I need to be better at that. So yeah, I'm human. But you keep saying I'm the 185-pound champion, and I love that because we're talking about hypnotherapy here. We're talking about projection. We're talking about attraction. I'm not physically the 185-pound champion yet, but I've been saying this for years.
Okay.
For years I've been saying this. I can show you my goals that I've written down and everything like that, and I can show you videos of me talking about this and text messages talking about this. Before I ever even joined the BKFC, I was telling people that I was the 185-pound champion.
Mm-hmm.
And now 5 fights in, being 5-0, technically 5-0, 5 fights in, I have Lorenzo Hunt, who is the 185-pound champion, on video, coming on to my podcast, accepting a fight with me, telling me he likes me, telling me he likes my fights, telling me he likes how I am, and then giving me pointers and DMs and whatnot. And so, like, after this next fight with Jomi Escoboza, when I beat him, that's who I'm fighting. I'm fighting Lorenzo the Hunt. The juggernaut.
So it's a contender, the number one contender match.
Yes. So I have it listed in my bio that I'm the 185-pound champion for a reason. Projection is attraction.
That's beautiful, man. And, I remember John Jones used to do that, right? When he first got signed to the UFC, he started signing John Jones champion or 205 champion or whatever it was, like heavyweight champion. And, I think that's a powerful thing, man. And one of the things I tell all my athletes, I train a lot of fighters these days. And one of the things I tell them is like, champions train like champions and live like champions before they're champions. And I think that goes right along with what you're saying, because what I see is a lot of guys are like they're on like they got an easier fight, right? Maybe an amateur fight or something. They're like, they don't take it as serious, right? And then as the fights get harder, they start ramping up their training. And I'm like, bro, like, you should be training like that from the beginning. You have to start living that lifestyle long before you become champion. So it goes right along the same lines of what you're talking about. Like, you got to project that out to the world, that that's who you are. And you got to feel that yourself, that this is the reality of what it is.
Exactly, brother. And, when you're talking about preparing for the victory, before it happens, when you're talking about the training, people emphasize the physical realm way too much, man. Like, I just want you to say the word one. Everybody say the word one, like past tense of winning, right? WON. Say it. Go one.
The one.
So WON, right? WON, one, is the past tense of winning. Okay. How do you spell one backwards?
Now.
There's your answer, right? I am probably autistic, and so I could literally see the truth in words and whatnot, and see all the different parallels
Rain
and all
Man.
the different depths. Yeah, right. So if you take one and you spell it backwards, it says now. Now is the present moment. The word present means gift. This is your only gift. All you have is now. And the word win is abbreviated as what's important now. What's important now for everyone to realize is what I always preach. This. How do you win? You win by realizing that you have already won now. So what happens is, what I do in hypnotherapy is we set a goal, right? The second you have a goal, in the future is the second it becomes the present moment now. And the longer you visualize that 6 seconds of a thought, the better you feel it. And the more you feel it, 17 seconds, if you feel it for 17 seconds, scientifically proven, it now magnetizes that same energy back to you. So it takes just 17 seconds of feeling an emotion, 6 seconds to produce the emotion. So it takes 23 seconds. The most powerful numbers right there, other than one itself, is 2 and 3, right? So the number 23, Jim Carrey movie, watch that movie if you never did, right? So 23, 2 and 3, it's 23 seconds of thinking of a thought, feeling the emotions from that thought to actually activate electromagnetism at its strongest. And so basically what you begin feeling is what you begin attracting. So what I'm telling you is this. The best thing to do for anybody is to close your eyes, and it's to visualize your victory before you actually visualize the process. And then you do the reverse. So you imagine your victories 30 some days ahead. And now you imagine backwards, your hand being raised, them saying your name, your opponent getting off the ground as you're standing above him, seeing the strike or the submission or the takedown, whatever it is that you did. Then basically reverse engineering this as if you're watching a movie on rewind, all the way to the walkout now, all the way to the preparation, all the way to everything you ate. You do it that way. And what you're doing is you're convincing your mind that you've done it already. And what happens is when you convince your mind, which operates itself, the unconscious mind operates 95% of your life, 95% of your body activities. When you're convincing this part of your mind, which is also your memory bank, that you've already done it, what happens is the body, which the mind controls, relaxes and goes, hey, this is easy. And when you do that, you activate the first F, flow. So how you get in a state of flow is you've got to go into the middle of who you are. Well, who are you? You are a soul. You have a mind, a brain, a flesh computer. You have a body. The word mind also means middle, right? So, or it's close enough, I should say. There's a lot of people out there who get on my ass about that. The mind is the middle. The brain is a flesh computer. So here you are, the soul, the metaphysical you, the energy, right? And then here you are, the physical manifestation of that energy, of this light. This is a halo for a reason. Circles have no beginning, no end. You are eternal energy, conscious of itself. And you're living in a flesh computer known as a brain, and you're operating through a body. So the brain is the middle ground. The mind is the middle ground. So if you cannot convince your mind of what you want, your body will not be convinced of it. Therefore, your body will be driving around with the e-brake on, and you're not going to go very far with the e-brake on, right? You ever drive anywhere on accident with the e-brake on?
Not very far.
Yeah, you don't accelerate fast, right? So the point about it is, bro, is that when you activate this state of flow, basically you're so calm, you're so relaxed, your body now represents that emotion, represents that thought process, and now you're able to win like a John Jones. Now you're able to win like a CPR or a Conor McGregor, which all three of those men meditated. And all hypnotherapy really is an extremely specific form of meditation where a therapist is doing it for you.
You know, let me say something, because it's interesting that you like how you just, laid this all out. And I think this is the problem with a lot of people that go through like anxiety or depression or, addiction, is to your point, the mind is an organ. It's an organ. And like to what you said, you have a soul, I believe, spirit, and that's like your inner voice. And when you feed that computer that you're talking about, like when these opiates, like you get everything going in there, and your addictions, and it might be alcohol, it might be pornography, it might be whatever. When you feed it all this negativity or whatnot, it's going to go that direction. Just like if you're eating bad food, you're going to get fat. It's going to have a negative impact on your body. So it's the same thing with the mind. What your eyes are bringing into and then what you're thinking. But that's all controllable by what you're saying, like your spirit. If you can spiritually feed your mind, you can train it. Because to your point, your brain doesn't know the difference between a dragon sitting in front of you for real or, a dragon being imaginary in front of you, which causes a lot of anxiety and panic and all that stuff to people. But I think a lot of depression and anxiety and addiction it could be a lot easier to heal if people would come to this conclusion that you're talking about. You're downloading this stuff. And just like on a computer, sometimes you need to wipe it out and then, reboot. And I think that's kind of where you're coming from. It's a really important, it's medicine. It really is. It's spiritual medicine.
You're exactly right. It's not just mental, it's spiritual. And I call it Control-Alt-Delete. Because when you press Control-Alt-Delete on a computer, when your computer is not working properly, when your system is frozen and you're not able to operate properly, what happens when you press Control-Alt-Delete on a computer? It brings up the task manager, right? Now you can manage your tasks. Well, what are the tasks that are occurring? Well, look at the task manager, and it's going to show you the very top of all those programs is your conscious programs. What does that mean? So if we were on Zoom right now, all of us were on Zoom right now, we would hit Control-Alt-Delete, bringing up our task manager on our computers. We would see that Zoom is the very first program at the top. All the programs underneath that are operating in the background, we are unconscious of until we actually take the time to look at them. And they're taking up precious energy, precious memory, etc. But when you click on those programs that are running in the background, especially the ones that are taking up as much energy as possible, and you delete them, that's what now allows your computer to operate more efficiently.
It's fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever studied like the actual science behind all of it? Because I've studied a little bit. Like I did tons of hypnotherapy and meditation stuff. When I was competing, I was very adamant about meditating, usually twice a day, but at minimum once a day. And I started reading some of the research, and just wonder if you've ever dug deep into that.
I wouldn't say super deep, which I should. I'm such like an the word organic came to mind. This was like a gift given to me. I'm a big knower, not believer, but knower of God, of Yahweh, of Yeshua, Ruach HaKodesh, Jesus Christ. Ruach HaKodesh is the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ. Jesus actually means I am in French. So I don't know if y'all knew that. So when you say Jesus Christ, you're saying I am Christ, I am the Savior. Yeshua means the salvation of Yahweh. That was his given name. And Yahweh means I am who I am. And Yahweh literally sounds just like this.
Breath.
Right? So when you inhale, you're saying I am who I am. I am who I am. And so going back to what you're saying about like studying, it's like, no, man, this studied me. But yeah, fill me in more, because there's so much that I could talk about this when it comes to the hypnotherapy. It's just fascinating.
Oh, I mean, I read that shit 20 years ago. I've studied tons of things, research. I did tons of research. Like I've read thousands of books. What's this book?
You just keep talking. I'm just showing you some hypnotherapy books, like Power of the Subconscious Mind.
Okay.
And then Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza.
Okay. Yeah. I've input so much knowledge like that into my brain. I can't regurgitate it just off the top of my head. You know, it wasn't something that I got totally deep into. Like I said, I did basically the way that I've operated throughout my career was, you know, I would research something. If I got, you know, something that might add to my career, I research the shit out of it until I either believed in it or didn't believe in it. And once I set my mind, I was like, okay, then I'll just do it. Now I'll hire the expert to do it. Right. But I had to do enough research to truly understand it. Right. Because there's so much bullshit out there, man. There's just so much, you know, one of the first things I got into was nutrition, right? And I mean, my Lord, the amount of bullshit out there is absolutely fucking unreal. And
cholesterol's bad for you, Matt.
yeah, right. and man, I mean, and it's even worse now with the you know, social media and shit. I mean, there's so much information and you get so confused so quickly, so easily. So I was like, well, I'm just going to skip like what everybody else is saying. I'm just going to get the textbooks. And so I would buy like college textbooks on nutrition and just understand the underlying mechanisms and shit and figured it all out eventually. And then, but the problem with that, and I don't, it's probably kind of similar in the hypnotherapy space, is like you go through all that research. I mean, I spent hours and hours, and then you circle back to the beginning. You're like, okay, this is actually really fucking simple. And I didn't have to understand it that deeply. Right. It's like a strength and conditioning stuff, right? I've done way more research into strength and conditioning training than I ever should have. When I ended at the beginning and I was like, okay, well, I lift heavy weights and, you know, eat some fucking protein, take creatine, and I'm cool. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that fucking complicated.
Don't overthink it. Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly ways to optimize things and do them better than other ways, and, you know, be more efficient, be smoother. You know, it's exactly the same in MMA, right? It's like, you know, you learn all these different techniques. There's a million different ways to do them. And then when you circle back eventually, it's like the Dunning-Kruger thing, right? You circle back to the beginning. You're like, okay, the 1-2 is still the best fucking combination that there is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Basics, like, man. I learned that day one. I could have just been working that fucking 1-2 the whole time, been a master of that. And all this time, you know, wasted trying to learn spins or different, whatever odd shit. It's like, I could have just been working that the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just the 1-2, it's the delivery. It's the feint that you do before you actually fire it, because all war is based on deception.
Right. That's what I mean, right? It's like I could have been working on how do I make that 1-2 operate better versus, you know, a 30 punch combo with all these different, you know, Floyd Mayweather looking tricks and shit, right? And that's ultimately what it comes down to. And I kind of feel like hypnotherapy, meditation, mental strength, mental toughness, so to speak, is kind of along the same lines, right? Like, you don't necessarily need to know all the neuroscience and everything. I was just kind of curious if you did, but like, it's very simple. It's like you feed good thoughts into your brain and you will exude good thoughts into the world.
Exactly.
Right. It's really simple. It is. But now how you go about that, that's why you need a professional like yourself, right? Because if I sit there and try to do it myself, I try to download some fucking app, I'm going to wreck myself trying to figure out how to do that. Right. And who knows what I'm actually getting into my brain? Who knows what's actually I'm going to actually be giving back to the world.
It's good to have a trainer. It's good to have a trainer at first, you know, just to get you started. It's just like at the gym. Some people don't know where to start in the gym, but, you know, they hire the trainer for a week. They got their workout, you know, and they're just like, now stick to it. At that point, you got to stick to it.
When you achieve your goals faster and easier because you're doing an activity like hypnotherapy or hiring a personal trainer, right? We call that quantum leaping, because you're basically condensing time, right? And all time is a measurement between one object to another object, right? So it's the space between one object to another. So you have your intention and you have your target, condensing the intention and the target together, making it an experience, making it an achievement, happens faster the more you think about it in a positive way.
Absolutely.
The more you feel about it in a positive way, the more you move in a positive way, the more you create and the more you attract positivity. It's just so mathematically precise that if you took all the emotion out of it, it would be seen more clearly. But that's exactly it. The fear is there. And all throughout this Bible, God tells you not to be afraid. Fear is actually a sin.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that later, but.
Well, and that's kind of the ultimate, to me, what the mental training really came down to is like our bodies, minds, spirits, whatever. I believe it's all based off reward punishment, the way that our brains work. And when we're rewarded for something, we want to do more of it, right? And when we're punished for it, obviously, like, we want to do less of it. So when we do mental training, like, we're getting a reward before we've even actually done it. Yeah. And that's where there's neurons are starting to be built, right? The reward neurons, the dopamine release, or whatever, different scientific things happen. So when you start to create that reward, it gives you more motivation to go actually do it physically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so true. And like you're making me think about a confession that I want to have here, because I've been wanting to put this on a podcast, especially like a bigger podcast. This is very, very, very interesting, because it shows the duality of how foolish humans are. Like, we are powerful beyond our own measure. And I think that's one of our greatest fears, because most people are afraid of failure, right? But most people don't realize they're also afraid of success.
Yeah, for sure.
Power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think most people, from my studies, from my experiences, that most people are afraid of success because they're afraid of losing themselves, losing their souls. Especially religious people or spiritual people are afraid of losing themselves into the progress, not the process. So I'll talk about
like losing humility. Or
let's look at Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson. Parallel careers, right? Bing, boom. Right? Mike Tyson had a hypnotherapist at age 13, Cus D'Amato, and he had hired somebody, right? Cus and the hypnotherapist would work on Mike from age 13 to become the youngest heavyweight champion of the world. The problem there that I recognize, and I could be wrong, but from what I've learned, is that they promoted him to be a murderer in the ring, a killer in the ring, but they didn't teach him how to turn it off or how to actually conduct himself as a civilian. In fact, you'd say the worst thing for a fighter is to become civilized. Mike Tyson has still not become fucking civilized, no matter how many fucking psychedelics he has taken.
And I don't know if you ever read into what they were telling him, like Cus specifically was telling him, a lot of the hypnotherapy or whatever you call it was like, bro, you're going to have all the girls are going to love you. Like, people are going to bow down to you. Men are going to want to be you. And that was what was feeding his motivation and making him be a killer. And it's like, when that happens, like, no one taught him, like, okay, how do you handle that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, and that's exactly why, and I'm not a Bible thumper, I'm not, but that's exactly why I incorporate God into what I do, because people are like, oh, hypnosis is evil. It's like, no, it's not. Nowhere in the Bible does it say it's evil. In fact, they actually say that when you pray or you meditate deep enough, you enter a state of hypnosis and it increases your awareness. You become more consciously aware, which is a good trait to have, right? It's a good experience to have. Yeah, I mean, like, I could feel it, man. Like, I could feel power coming my way, and it's kind of like detestable. I'm like, oh, because it's like all I ever wanted was a wife. I had one. I'm friends with her still to this day. She's like my sister. No intimacy whatsoever there. It's my son's mother. They look exactly the same. I love my son more than I love anybody. She gave him to me. We made him together. Like, if a man tries to mess with her to this day, I'll still kill him. But as opposed to like sexual attraction to her, there's none, right? But it's like, the reason why I bring her up is because, like, I always wanted my best friend. I wanted a wife, and like, now that, like, I'm being my authentic self, I'm activated my electromagnetism. There's girls from all around the world that are like figments of my imagination, like what they look like, what they sound like, what they say based upon what they think, what they feel, how they conduct themselves. They're like coming to me, and I'm like, I'm in fight camp, and I told myself, like, no, build your kingdom, strengthen your kingdom before you attract a queen, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like just that alone, and we all know that, all the mythical heroes of time and the real heroes of time, most of them fell to women.
To their dicks.
But it's like, did they fall to women, or did they fall to their own stupid, foolish desires?
It's their dicks. That's for the whole
right?
think with your big head, not your little head. That's what David's problem was for a little while.
So I'm curious if you would relate to me on this, because I kind of had the same kind of feelings when I was younger. Like, I want a wife, I want a partner, all that. And then I realized after I got divorced, I have 3 kids and got divorced after. And I realized after, because, I basically lived in solitude for about a year after that. I got a torn ACL. I was fucking, whatever.
Look, I know what that's like.
Yeah. Yeah. And divorced and blah, 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 got the whole sob story. But what I realized after a certain amount of time was that I actually wanted all that shit because I wasn't a complete person. Like, I wasn't full by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then over time, I felt like I increased my own self, right? And what we could, closer to enlightenment, so to speak, right? My natural self. And it was the same. Like, then like girls would come to me, right? When I increased my own self, and that electromagnetic attraction you're talking about, like, they were just drawn to it. Girls, I think women specifically, like, they have a very keen sense of that. Like, they can smell that from a fucking mile away, right? They like even now, I got a girlfriend now, and like, if we have sex and then I go out to the club that night, every girl knows, and they're like, they want to fuck me so bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they all know. Like, there's some shit in the air there.
It's
100%.
Yeah, man. That's human nature, man. Like, women, like, when you establish the man, and even when the woman establishes the woman, it's when they walk into a room, and you don't have to be a woman or whatnot. When an alpha is walking into the room, confidence. You see confidence. Like, if you've gone to a good business meeting or something like that, and you listen to the guy talk, you're like, man, that guy, he knows his shit. He's confident, got that going on. But so, to your point, yeah, if you're walking in the club and you've already established the man, they know that you're the man. If you know that you're the man, they know that you're the man.
And before you go on, Matthew, is it Matthew or Matt? I prefer Matt usually. But
you can call me Cody, you can call me Matt, you can call me Vidal, you can call me whatever, man. I don't
Knuckle
care.
Maniac. I read an amazing book called Power versus Force. Have you ever heard of this one?
I haven't, but I like the concept.
This is like the most amazing, one of the most profound books in my life, and it talks about basically what we're talking about now, where a powerful person walks in the room, it. When there's a weaker person, they try to force themselves in, that too. And that's basically what I was doing back in the day. I try to force myself into having a good relationship and force myself, into getting her number or whatever it might be, into her pants, whatever, I never did actually force myself, so I'm not incriminating anything here. But when you have that power,
I did not have sexual relationships with that woman by force. It was done by power.
Hey, that's your cousin's husband there you're talking about.
Fuck those people. Hey, Metallica's best album, #.
You're definitely off the Christmas dinner list now.
Well, anyway.
Good. I don't want to eat children.
So when I learned about having this power, like, it's not something that you can just create either. Like, you have to be so comfortable with yourself to create that power. And I don't know, there's a big change in my life for me. And I think, even as a coach, because that was around the time when I stopped fighting and started coaching people a little bit.
Yeah.
You try to force techniques on people, try to force them to be your student, force them these things. It's much better to be a powerful person that draws them to you, and then they'll buy into the system a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like an act of desperation when you're forcing, because it's like, if you think about it, like, if you're forcing out energy into someone, they're gonna feel like, why? What's his motive? Like,
and it initiates a kickback every time.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel good. It feels threatening, right? And most people they are in survival mode 24/7, right? But there's a lot of interesting points that are just popping up in my head, so I'm actually writing them down. So if you see me look,
touch on all of them, bro. We got no time limit here. We're long form.
Fuck, thank God. I was like, yo, I want to actually have like a 3-hour podcast if they're down, dude, because I fucking cleared my schedule for this, man. But yeah, I'm gonna get animated here. I'm starting to wake up, and I don't hold back. So first point I want to talk about, because I talk in circles, ADHD, I talk in circles, spirals, but I always come back to it. And thank God I have the memory I do. So I always talk about how on April 4th of 2014, I prayed for the first time in a long time after my grandfather was murdered, who adopted me. And I took that prayer and I then watched a documentary on pastors, Christian pastors fighting in MMA, and then I posted the movie trailer for that Christian pastor / MMA movie, and I said it's interesting that all of the world champions in combat sports specifically, but even in basketball, football, etc., all of the best always give the glory to God. Now, they could be Christian, they could be Muslim, but people don't realize this because of the media, who is anti-Christian. The Antichrist media tells us that Christians and Muslims should hate each other, but the thing that they're not telling us, the truth that they're not telling us, is that Muslims also love Christ. They just don't think he's the son of God. So there's some there's a little bit there it's a lot, but at the end of the day, when Christians and Muslims are fighting each other, it's still children. We're all of us are children of God, no matter what your religion is. And I want to emphasize that God is love and he loves us all. But when you have Muslims and Christians killing each other over fear and over hate and whatnot, because it's all a misconception, what you're essentially having is one people who believe in Christ and they think he's the son of God. Other people that believe in Christ love him. They just don't think he's the son of God. And now they're basically killing each other over that small little contrast, which again could be huge. And the reason why I mention this is because every single major champion is either Christian or Muslim. And when I posted that, I was not religious, and I'm still not religious. But when I posted that 12 years ago, guys, within 5 minutes, Emmanuel Newton, the light heavyweight champion of Bellator, who had just knocked out King Mo at that time with a spinning back fist, messaged me, never talked to him in my life, and he said, "Our Heavenly Father put on my heart to contact you. God is real." I still have that message till this day. I made many videos about this, and I was fascinated. I was like, holy shit. I talked to him for 4 hours immediately, got my plane ticket to California, came out here. I didn't have an ACL on my knee, tore my MCL, ripped up my meniscus, training with damn, I'm so sorry I don't have his name right now. I'll come back to his name later. But training with a heavyweight. And then I moved back home to Pennsylvania because my knee was screwed up and I couldn't train out here. And so basically the first time I came to California was on a prayer that was answered like that, like that. A prayer that was answered like that, right? It's because, like, think about this. Let's break this down and go slow. I prayed. I watched a movie based on pastors and Christianity, posted it, and I was like, it's interesting that all these guys that are world champions also believe in Christ and give their glory to Christ. Maybe that's what I should do. Within 5 minutes, a world champion, Emmanuel Newton, messages me and says, "Our Heavenly Father put it on my heart to contact you. God is real. Here's my phone number." Then I come to California from Pennsylvania, which I was in a suicidal depression at that point in time. I'll touch up on that later. Okay, go back home to Pennsylvania with my tail tucked between my legs, hurt, even more depressed, more suicidal ideation, more anxiety, more self-hate. Start studying meditation, start studying not Christianity, now I'm studying Buddhism and Hinduism. I was in my ex-girlfriend's house, Maria's house. She had a big old German library upstairs in her attic because the person that owned her mother's house was a German doctor. Big library. And I was just sitting in there and I was practicing a meditation I just learned. And it was a Kundalini meditation to activate the Kundalini energy, which is just energy up your spinal cord to activate your spirituality, everything I'm talking about here. And Kundalini meditation was called Waheguru. Now, this is a halo. And in Christianity, this is a representative of the consciousness of your soul. Now, science has proven that your mind doesn't generate consciousness. Consciousness actually is believed to rest above your mind like Wi-Fi to a computer. And I'll talk to y'all about Wi-Fi internet and blow your fucking minds here, should we have enough time. But in the Wahe Guru, instead of it resting above your head, it's more like this. It's around your head, right? And what they call this around your head is the arc line. Arc line. Guys, I only studied the arc line that fucking hour. I only discovered the arc line that fucking hour. I only discovered Wahe Guru meditation that hour. So I'm sitting there by myself in the attic in the library, and I'm doing this. Like, literally, this is what you do. So you focus on your navel. Imagine your navel, your belly button, pressing it into your spinal cord. So it's coming from the front into the spinal cord. So you take a deep breath in, pushing on your right nostril to inhale through your left nostril. Left representing the past, left behind, right representing the future, the right way. So you inhale, while at the same time, counterintuitive it sounds, pushing your navel button towards your spine rather than filling up your belly. And you do that to max capacity, and then you pump your belly button into your spinal cord 3 times per set. So 3 reps per set. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you do that 16 sets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, while holding your breath. And then when you're ready to exhale after 16 sets, you push your left nostril and you breathe out. And what you say in your head, what you would say in your head when you're doing this is Wahe Guru, Wahe Guru, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, Wahe Guru, 1, 2, 3, right? And I was doing that not knowing what the fuck I was doing. So I did that, 16 sets of that. Again, just learned it, just did it. And prior to doing this is fucking really interesting. Prior to doing this, I posted an advertisement on Craigslist. Think about this. I'm in Pennsylvania in my girlfriend's library doing a meditation for the first time after failing my first visit to California, ripping my knee apart. I'm doing a meditation that I just learned after posting an ad on Craigslist that same fucking 2 hours. The ad I posted on Craigslist was to Los Angeles Craigslist. I was seeking joining a band as a metal singer, as a hardcore singer. I wanted to join a band. So I put my music out there. Guys, I have the fucking proof. I have the emails to prove this. When I came out of the meditation, I heard a ding, 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 ding on the computer. I go over to the computer. I open up Craigslist. I have an email from Craigslist. There was a band. There was a fucking band that messaged me back, not to audition for them. They accepted me based upon my live performances that I already sent them and based upon my recorded material I sent them. They accepted me and said, let's do 2 shows together. Wait till I tell you that fucking band's name. Arcline. Guys, I posted a fucking ad to join a band. Did a meditation not even an hour later based upon the arc line. Come out of the meditation, and the band in Los Angeles that accepted me to be their singer, his name was motherfucking Arcline, and they had a song called Wahe Guru. The very meditation I did. Dude, I know I might sound like a schizophrenic. I have it as proof. So I came out to California based upon a prayer and a meditation.
Doesn't sound schizophrenic. Sounds pretty wild.
Yeah. So I got a one-way plane ticket to California. Emmanuel Newton, the light heavyweight champion at the time, came to the show. He was known as the Hardcore Kid. He was dancing in the pit. After the show, he goes, "Where you staying?" I go, I'm staying on the streets. I took a one-way out here. He goes, "Bro, why didn't you just ask me? You could live with me." And I started living with Emmanuel in Long Beach, California.
Dude, what happened to Emmanuel? I haven't heard anything about him for a long time, huh?
Got a lot of kids. He has a security company, and he actually baptized me last year on March 16th in the Long Beach in the ocean up there. He baptized my son and I together. I requested to have him baptize me due to the fact that God talked directly to him through him 12 years ago, and here I am living this amazing dream I have now based upon a prayer and based upon a meditation.
That's wild, huh? So he's doing good for himself. That's good to hear, man.
Yeah,
It's hard for fighters, bro. It's hard, man. Like after competing for so long, and like I struggled with it for a long time, still struggle with it, because we want to fucking compete, bro. We don't want to be doing all this other bullshit, right? Like we just want to fight. And what we were alluding to earlier, to your point with about the flow. I mean, to find that state of flow like you do during a fight, or even during just regular everyday training sessions, like I don't know how you find that again, man. And I don't think there's like a real answer for it. For me, like I just suck it up and I'm fine. But it's like
it's
for some guys it fucks them up.
Brother, it's called translation. How do you translate that same exact fucking trauma response known as fight? Because we are fighters, because fighting itself is, which I'm going to get in those F's next. And I want to include Ruddy here before I do that. So I'm going to take some notes here. I want to get into I'm still in the F flow, but I want to get into the fight F now. But we'll get into that next. But you mentioned flow again, right? Now, Ruddy, before I fucking go off again, because I can go off, I want to hear what you think, like what you're thinking right now, and what you want to say, because I'm very inclusive. It's your podcast, by the way.
No,
I want to hear you.
I'm taking it all in. I think it's very interesting. I'm a spiritual guy. I believe in God. I was raised on the Bible. Your faith is challenged at all times. And, we see a lot of that through media right now, which you had mentioned, like, the media is not religious, it depends on what the narrative is. But I think everything that you're saying, the meditation, it's all spiritual. It's all like, your aura, your energy. You're talking about your antenna from your mind, and we receive, our mind receives. So just hearing all that, it kind of, there's a lot going on right now in the world. And you hear these, you hear folks like yourself talking in depth about, meditation, spirituality, like how we're bringing things or talking things into our life, which has been going on for a very long time. It's interesting to me, and I live my life like that. I live my life, positive talk. I've gone through anxiety, panic attacks, and all that stuff. Like I could write a book on panic attacks, but it all came down to controlling the mind, not letting the mind control you, learning that the mind is an organ, that you feed that organ, that fear. So I'm very in tune with what you're saying, and the flow and all that stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, brother. It's good to know that you're also a believer, man. With that said, I want to bring this up because, Trump, the administration's starting to come out now with the psychedelics, right? They're going to, all of a sudden, we're going to bring psychedelics in.
Yep.
And, I'm a big proponent of, I don't do it all the time, but there are times where I do it. I love microdosing.
Mm-hmm.
Microdosing, I'm not talking about tripping. I'm not talking about hallucinating. I'm talking about microdosing, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about taking a product that God created, a living creature that God created, that will help you in so many ways. You enter a state of flow on that, right? And like for me, it's like you start feeling good immediately, but it quickly is taken over by anxiety and like all that is wrong with you and all that is wrong with the world. And I feel like when the microdose hits, you start to examine what causes the anxiety, what causes the depression, what causes all that fear, what causes all that pain, before you can then actually enjoy the fruit, of that mini high. And what the mushrooms do is they actually activate neuroplasticity. They actually activate the imagination. They actually activate you as a soul. And so you become very, very, very electromagnetic in a state of flow when you're on a microdose. And I know this because every single time I do those magic mushrooms, the magic happens. I literally attract like the greatest opportunities, attract the great, like awesome people. In fact, like all the women that I actually attract, I think every single woman that I can think of that has either been my girlfriend or wanted to be my girlfriend or wanted to be my wife, in the past couple years, it was on a microdose.
Interesting. I give a shout out to Synergy, PSYNERGY. They send me some microdoses pretty regularly. Really good stuff, man. I'm so different than you guys. It's like, because I do the microdoses fairly regularly, but when I do them, like I either sit down and play my guitar, or I fucking watch a movie, or I just want to be alone, man. Like I feel like I don't know, there's some fucking weird shit. Like I hate weed. Like I never smoke weed. Like it's like it's even worse. Like I get all fucking paranoid and anxious. I'm like, fuck this shit, bro. But the microdoses do like a similar thing, just not as strong. Like I could go and I'd go have some dinner, whatever, socialize a little bit. But like I don't feel all that like I don't feel like I'm in a state of flow when I do it. I feel like mentally good. Like I feel fine, like I have energy and I feel fine, but I can't like function in normal society on this shit. You know what I mean? But I tell you what though, I've made some hella good fucking riffs from that shit though, bro.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Awesome sandwiches.
I bet you do, man. I make the most, awesome sandwiches. The best music I've ever made in my head. I think I was under the influence of something just just touch into
another universe.
Let me ask you guys this, because that's interesting. I've never microdosed. Like I've had shrooms. Like when I was younger, in high school, a little bit out, a lot of LSD, a lot of shrooms, and that was like, I could say that like LSD is way different than mushrooms. Mushrooms were like, it was such a clean kind of experience. It was a very clean experience. But I've never, I take, my brother has a CBD line, and they sell, D9, D8, and they just started with these synthetic mushrooms, which I've been taking like a half of one at night, and it makes from the D9, like I'll get real giggly and stuff like that. Just like a half of one, and I don't take it to get like high or anything. I just like, it's kind of like relaxes me at night, right before bed. And I'll just, I'll kind of just scroll a little bit and just find reels and laugh or whatever. But when you're saying that you're microdosing now, and Matt, you're saying that you get it through Synergy. Is it actual like shrooms, or is it a synthetic?
Yeah, psilocybin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I feel like I've always wondered if maybe my past experience with shrooms has kind of fucked that up, because back in like high school, right after high school, I mean, I would eat fucking bags of that shit and just get drunker than fuck and just look at shit everywhere and just be a fucking retard, man. Like I used to love doing it. Like Ozfest, I went there and like great story. Like I seen Slipknot when they were on the second stage. You know what I mean? Bro, this is like, their first album. They're on the fucking second stage, bro. And I'm tripping balls and seeing these guys for the first time, bro. Drunk off my ass. And I mean, imagine like seeing Slipknot for the first time, tripping balls. You're like, dude, am I actually seeing this shit? Dude, just think of like when they came out in that day. Dude, right. Think of when they came out in that day. I mean, there was nothing like that before, right? And there was some new metal, and we were still kind of in the Pantera days and stuff. Nobody was doing what they were doing, fucking scratch boards, and I mean, dude had a great voice too, singing with the voice and jumping around on stage like crazy, and
fighting each other,
balls. Yeah, just the mosh pit was insane, dude. So I've always felt like this shit is what fucked me up from doing shrooms nowadays, because I mean I abuse this shit. Like I used to trip I take mushrooms and blotter acid, remember that fucking dirty ass shit, or like gel caps, like that was probably made in somebody's fucking garage, like some teenager that put a bunch of chemicals together,
drink like a case on it.
Dude, I yeah, exactly, right. I'd put like the two together all the time. Like I used to just love just tripping fucking balls, bro. Like for days at a time, I'd smoke meth while I was tripping. Like,
oh my god,
dude, you're wild.
I mean, I was wild. I was a fucking idiot. I was just an idiot, bro. It wasn't even.
Well, we all were at that age. Like when you gave.
It's not your fault. You lived in fucking Ohio, bro.
That's what we did. Cornfields, man. That's what we did. We ran around on LSD.
In either state?
Well, I mean, Yeah, we could get deep into it, talk about all the mental shit. I mean, I think there was a lot more to it that and a lot of it, we keep talking about the metal, that had such a huge influence because I was so fucking angry, childhood shit, that I don't have to get into, but I was just angry as fuck, bro. And this was just an escape from it. You know what I mean? And I've always been a competitive kid since I was, fucking born. Like I was competitive and just wanted to be the champion of everything I fucking did. So like when I started getting into drugs and that was fun, I was like, well, I'm going to be the
champion,
the champion of fucking mush. Oh, you're taking one bag. I'm taking two, bitch. Oh, you're drinking 12 pack. I'm drinking a fucking case. Fuck you. Oh, you're doing one line. I'll do the whole fucking 8-ball, especially the cocaine. That was because you can just do cocaine for days, you know what I mean? And it just gets better,
until it gets worse.
Until it doesn't, right?
But like, so with the microdosing now, like I understand what you're saying. Like I honestly think that a lot of that has to do with what you're talking about, Matt. Like the you ruined whatever it was to where, as a teenager or a kid or whatnot, you don't have the responsibilities you have now. So it's easy to like eat a bag of shrooms. There's nothing to think about except for like, what are you going to eat or order from McDonald's, value meal, but like now as an adult, that's kind of what I wouldn't mind going back to trying to, microdose, but I get it in my head too. Is like with marijuana, for example, like you don't know what you're getting when you're smoking it and you're sitting there, now you're all paranoid as to when you were younger.
Shit is really fucking high quality, bro.
So that's, I mean, I'm interested into like, what does it do for you? Like the microdosing, has it like helped you in your business, or is it just like more of a like calming state?
Talking to me?
Yes.
Oh man, the best fucking reels I do. The best reels I do are when I don't always do it, but every now and then I do it. And this is what I meant by like self-sabotaging behavior. Maybe it's self-preservation. I don't know, but the power, right? So like, let's go back to that meditation really quick. I did that meditation 12 years ago, and it literally manifested what I wanted like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the last time I actually ever did a meditation.
Wow.
What?
Why'd you stop,
years ago, I
motherfucker?
meditated, got what I wanted, and I stopped.
Why'd you stop, bro?
I don't know. That's why I'm on this podcast talking about this. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Is it God's way of protecting me, like on a higher plane? Like, hey man, like you're tapped into something very powerful there. Like, because like when you do, DMT, for example, you smoke DMT pen. Everybody kind of sees the same fucking people, the same entities, right? Right? Like,
I've never done it.
Yeah, I've only done it twice, and it was the first time I think I didn't cross the line. And you'd seen all the shapes, like you're looking through a kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And I just remember the people that were with me. I was like, why the fuck are they here? Like, fuck these motherfuckers. I was getting real fucking angry.
You're like,
but it also fucked me up a little bit because like your heartbeat goes really fast. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking die doing this stupid hippie shit. Like, I don't want to fuck like I could at least do something fun, man. But then I did it again. And I crossed over, man. I didn't see I know a lot of people say they see little green aliens and shit. I was more like in my own little world, man. I was like in a forest, and wow. I wasn't talking to like ghosts, but I was talking to something that it's like kind of hard to really put into words what it is. You know what I mean? It was like kind of smoky, foggy, but I could also kind of clearly see what they were. They weren't like monsters, but also like I wasn't afraid of them. You know what I mean? It's like just a very strange mystical thing. And I thought it was cool as hell, but I was like, I'm not really a hippie. So I'm like, I would kind of rather just smoke a cigar and have a whiskey. And
Matt, was that like the DMT? Is that how, was it a synthetic or is that? No,
it's from a plant, bro. And we did it through I think they call it a volcano bong. Does that sound right? It's like it's like a big bag, like a plastic bag that fills up with all the smoke, and then you take a hit of the smoke.
Sounds crazy.
Well, how'd you do it? They said that was, everybody told me that was the way to do it.
I did like a mild form of it through a pen, so I didn't blast off as Joe Rogan talks about in the documentary, The Spirit Molecule, which is about DMT, dimethyltryptamine, the strongest hallucinogen in the world, which is produced in your pineal gland, right?
It's the strongest shit, bro. I could promise you that. I've done a lot of fucking drugs, and that shit is fucking out of this world. Like, so you Ruddy, take off, boy.
Yeah, Ruddy, the reason why we dream is because we're actually tripping. We're actually hallucinating. It's because the pineal gland secretes DMT when you're asleep. And when you're asleep, it causes you to have basically outer body experiences. You're in dreams, right? I mean, what I've learned, and this could be just my own imagination talking to me, but what I've learned is like all those Hindu gods and whatnot, they exist, but they're not God. Like God is Yahweh, he's the all creator, but then there's all these other gods underneath. They're spirits, right? And maybe they're demons, maybe they're angels, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of these entities are helpful, and maybe they're potentially the watchers that watch over us. Maybe they're not the physical manifestations of the watchers, the aliens that watch over us, because aliens and angels are the same to me, if you ask me. But like, okay, one experience I've had, the first experience I had, it was like these shapes. So, okay, I'll just explain it. So, my ex, I'm not even going to mention her name anymore because I used to be nice and mention her name, but, you know, forget her. She was sitting next to my bed, and I was like, I'm so scared to hit this pen. This was years ago, probably like almost 4 years ago. Just imagine this is the pen, right? And I'm like, I'm so scared, guys. I'm like, oh man, like, what if I die? Pen. Yeah, what if I die? Or what if I die as who I know I am, and I come back and I'm not the same person? Like, well, what if a demon enters me and stuff like that?
I learned you can't be scared of the DMT pen, bro. You gotta be chilled. You have better experience, but good.
I learned that eventually, right? But like I'm like, please hold my hand, and I had just met this girl too, by the way. So she was loving it. Like, yeah, she was loving it. But, yeah. So I start puffing on this thing with my eyes closed, and she's holding my hand, and can't believe I'm talking about this. Hey, your people are your people. Who cares about the people that don't like what you're saying? Who cares about the people that don't like what you're thinking? Who cares about the people that don't like what you're feeling? Your people are your people. So as a business owner, if I actually repel individuals that I wouldn't want to work with, thank God.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, this is God's creation that I'm talking about, right? So here I am smoking God's creation. And the first thing that happens is my eyes are closed, right? And all of a sudden, I see a black tunnel, and I just see shapes swirling towards me. And one of them is like a triangular, like a diamond. And all I hear is, come closer, come closer. And I'm like, fuck, what is going on? And as it gets closer to me, it's like a diamond with like sharp teeth. And I forget what color it was. And then all of a sudden, my girlfriend to the right, like, I see this pink energy in my peripheral vision, and it looked like a digitized vagina. And it's coming towards me, and there's this demon shape here, and it's doing this, so like merging together. And then when they get really close to each other, all I hear is like, you love the flesh more than the spirit. You're not ready for this. You love the flesh more than the spirit. You're not ready to ascend. You're not ready to learn. And I'm holding her hand, and like I have this choice. I'm like, I could let go of her hand and keep puffing this thing, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna blast off. And right when I had that idea, the fucking tunnel that was straight forward goes and goes vertical, like Joe Rogan explained. And now I see these shapes, and they're going, come closer. And I'm like, if I hit this, I am going to fucking go up out of my body as a soul, as a spirit, into the fucking universe, right? And I'm going to have one of those experiences that I've been learning about. But I didn't want to.
You didn't hit it, bro.
I opened my eyes, and I was crying. Like, Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. And she's holding my hand. She's like, are you going? Like, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, I think I just saw demons. I think I just communicated to demons, right? But as time progressed, I did more and more. As days went on, months went on, I did more and more of it. And I remember actually maybe not fully blasting off, but I was up in the universe, and as I was rising up out of my body, there was 4 heads, all the same shape. They were diamond shapes, and they had eyes, and I think they were like gray, and they were just flat. And as I was going up, I was looking at them, and they were like completely even. Like if you look up and you see a circle of heads, it was basically like a circle of 4 triangular diamond-shaped heads. And I was like confronted by them, and they were basically like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "You're alive." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they just kept saying, "You're alive. You're alive. You're alive." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" They're like, "Fucking go live. Like, shouldn't be here. Like, go live." And I opened my eyes, and then the last time I ever did it was on my front porch at nighttime. I just went out there and I hit it. And I didn't hit enough to have an experience like seeing anything or anything like that. But I heard in my head, they're like, "This is not a race. Slow down. It's not a race. You'll cross the finish line eventually. But just enjoy every step." And that was the last time I did it.
Very cool. Well, next time you got to blast off, bro.
It sounded like he did when the aliens told him to go back. Go live. What are you doing here? It's like everybody's trying to cross over into the spirit world. And they're like, hey, you'll eventually get to the spirit world. Worry about what, stay grounded for now. I mean,
exactly.
We start to tap into that stuff. Like there's Matt's not, he's not a religious guy. I mean, I don't know Matt, like in terms of Christ or whatever, every time we talk about it or whatnot, I'm sure that you've got some sort of belief, Matt, but like, I think that if you start to dabble, okay, well then he doesn't, but I think that if you start to dabble in some of that stuff, you know, it's not productive. I think that you can go too far in it, and it's best just to, you know,
like the DMT.
Well, I mean,
and the hallucinogens, psychedelics, and shit.
Probably any of
well, I mean,
right?
like you went into that
moderation, right?
But you went into it, Matt, and did you have, like you said, blast off? Did you have? And I'm talking to Matt Brown. Matt, did you have a spiritual? Did you feel like you had any kind of spiritual? And spiritual doesn't mean like you met Jesus and angels came down and you guys all hung out. I mean, but did you have any kind of like spiritual awakening where you, like, you know, you used to meditate? That's spiritual.
Yeah, I see that as spiritual. And, you know, the DMT, again, I've done shrooms. I've done them irresponsibly, but I've also done them responsibly, you know, the way you're kind of supposed to do them. And, you know, I even did them down in Mexico at a retreat where, you know, you're kind of guided with a shaman and stuff. And I don't know, it didn't really change anything for me is what I felt like. It was a very cool experience. Very much cooler than when I abused them and did them irresponsibly and got shit-faced drunk and did all the other drugs and just wanted to see cool shit, which is just fucking foolish of me. But, you know, there was like nothing profound for me, right? I just like see cool shit and I'm like, cool, that's really fun to see cool shit, you know? But yeah, honestly, like I always felt like I got more out of like meditation personally.
But do you think
I felt like I was actually rewiring my brain? I never felt that from shrooms, and I've done them. Again, I've probably abused them way too many times, and I've only done them responsibly maybe 2 or 3 times. I'd say DMT again. I didn't do it necessarily as responsible. Like I would be interested in doing like one of these. You know, like when I did it with the shaman, the shrooms, it was much more. Yeah, it was much more
productive.
Productive, yeah, good word for it. Yeah, it was much more productive, but it wasn't like profound. Like I didn't feel like I came out changed. You know, but when I do the meditation, I feel like I'm changed. But the difference is people also expect, and I'm sure that it happens, where people come out of DMT or shroom, ayahuasca, whatever, changed after one experience. The meditation isn't going to be a one experience changer. Like it's a steady daily thing over time. And but I have noticeable differences from doing that. So again, just like kind of not being, you know, I'm such a pragmatic, simple person that I don't really feel those things. They just don't touch me the same way they do a lot of other people.
Let me ask you a quick question. So, you know, talking about spirituality and God and Christ, and you don't believe like in that, like, But like, what do you think
No.
happens like when you pass? Do you think you just go in the box and you go dark? I mean, that's a legit question. Like, what do you think? Do you think it's just
No,
nice
so
out?
the way that I go with all that, and like I respect everybody else's views on it, because that's, again, it's what they believe. I don't believe anything. Like, I don't know, and I'm just comfortable with not knowing. Like, I'm just like, right now, the present moment is what matters, and I know this is real. And if it is an illusion, then cool, it's a fucking illusion. Then, that's whatever. And yeah, that's just the way I'm just like comfortable saying, look, I don't fucking know. I do believe like cool shit happens. Like Vidal was telling us the story about the, manifesting, getting in this band, like shit like that happens, man.
Yeah.
And like universe energy, I believe, things happen. I think, spiritual things happen. People see ghosts, demons, all this shit. Like, I believe that all these people are telling the truth. I'm not like saying it's all a bunch of lie and bullshit. For me, I'm just like, bro, I'm cool saying like, I don't fucking know. I've never had anything spiritual happen to me. I've never had anything happen to me where I was like, oh shit, like that's a fucking out of the world thing right there. If it did happen, then maybe I would change my viewpoint. But until then, I'm like, I don't know. And I'm cool with that.
You know what's interesting, Matt? Right before you said the word universe, I was thinking of Masters of the Universe. Remember Masters of the Universe?
He-Man, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about? It was the orange guy that looks like bricks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember it because I actually wasn't allowed to watch that show when I was a kid, which is because my mom was very, very religious, actually, and still is. And yeah, she wouldn't let me watch it.
Download. That's why I got that download. So that's why I'm verbalizing it now. I can remote view. Remote viewing is like not something that I necessarily do. Like, I know how, like, I don't know all the details on how to do it, but like I close my eyes as you're talking because I heard in my head like God was like, my heart hurts for you. I could feel your hurt, and I know it fucking sounds weird coming from a stranger on a fucking podcast, but
hurts like what?
Like, I just thought about that green guy in Masters of the Universe, and right when I thought about Masters of the Universe, you said universe, and then I brought it up to you, and you're like, "Oh, my mom didn't let me watch it, and she was extremely religious." You see, that tells me right then and there, as a hypnotherapist, as a healer, it tells me that like a lot of people don't get the ability, or they don't have the experience to connect with God because someone or something had blocked it from them.
All right, before we keep going, I want to tell you about Vidal Creatine. If your goal is to get stronger, recover better, perform at a higher level, creatine should be one of the foundations of your supplement routine. This isn't hype. This is one of the most trusted, tested, and effective supplements available for strength, power, and overall training performance. And Vidal Creatine is for people who take their training seriously, whether you're in the gym, on the mat, in camp, or just pushing yourself every day. This is the kind of product that supports real work, real performance, and real results.
And now it just like is a program in their mind, and it's like, fuck that. Like, I know most Catholics I know don't actually believe in God, and like they're like, no, I was forced to do it.
Sure,
Talk about
yeah,
power
yeah.
versus force. They were forced to do it. They're forced to do it. Guess who wasn't forced to do jack shit? Me. I wasn't forced to do nothing. But guess who always came at me? God always proved himself to me over and over again. And it's all about experience. So I never preach, because the Bible tells you not to do that, by the way. The Bible tells you never to preach to anybody that has their eyes closed or their ears or shut off intentionally, because it says, let those who have eyes see, let those who have ears hear. So like, don't do that, because all you do is you push people further and further away. But by spiritual experiences, we then begin to believe. And the Bible, Christ himself talks about this. He's like, I'm going to come to you in one way or the other. It might be dreams. It might be in visions. It might be in coincidences. It might be through prayer. It might be through meditation. It might be through saving your life. Like, it might be through other people. And for me, it happens in every single way. Like, I can honestly say that God communicates to me on a daily basis. And when I communicate to him, he tells me directly what I was just thinking. It's so magical. It's reality, dude. It's reality. Is that,
well, my point is that's why I respect that. Like, because if you have these spiritual experiences, I'm like, dude, I respect, like, it, fucking cool. I've never had those. Like, nothing
that's
is
my point.
Like, I got overdosed and I was literally dead for over a minute, and like I didn't see anything. You know what I mean? Like, I was actually dead. I didn't see anything. And then, so like, like I said, I've tripped a million times. I've seen, and I've done many things where I should have been, some spiritual things should have happened. And I just never felt it. So, that's why I said I respect it. It's like, okay, if you're having those experiences, I'm like, fuck yeah. I wish that, and I'm totally open-minded. I'm like, dude, if God came down and spiritualized some shit around me right now, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Well, I'm gonna do hypnotherapy for you, and Ruddy, I'm gonna do hypnotherapy on you guys for free. I do charge a lot of money for that normally, but it's so powerful, dude. And I'm not gonna like force anything on you guys to believe anything, but like, I did hypnotherapy on this guy. He's a guitarist in a band you probably know. I'm not gonna mention it because he didn't give me the permission to. But during a hypnotherapy session, I was thinking about Jesus. I was having to meet somebody, but I didn't tell him who to meet. And like he in the vision met Jesus, and he like since then he's like, bro, it's like that's the most comfort I've ever had in my life. And he's like, I don't even believe in that stuff. It was
Hell
crazy
yeah.
because I was thinking about it, but I wasn't telling him
Yeah.
who I wanted him to meet. And so like it was just
See, if I get an experience like that, made my view change. Like, because I'm totally open to it, and again, I believe in like universal energy. Like, I think things happen because there's energy that's neither destroyed nor created, and it's all over the place. And there's shit that we totally don't understand, like communicating with each other through vibes and energies and auras and all this fucking whacked out shit. And I think like plants have more intelligence than we give them credit for. I think animals see things and hear things, and I think there's a lot of shit out there. It's crazy. So like I always just go to this and I just say, look, I don't fucking know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that's good.
And I'm like,
I think it's
good. I'm like, cool. I don't know. But if I go back and I start from zero, like no bias, no nothing, and I just look at critically think my way through, creation and death, I'm like, it doesn't lead me towards a higher power. So that's why I don't necessarily believe, so to speak. But I'm like, cool. Like if that's the conclusion that you came to, because, that's where I think most of the time it comes from bias or predetermined conclusions. But sometimes it doesn't. So I'm like, cool. If
your relationship has to be
if you can
organic.
open-mindedly get your place to that, then I'm like, cool. That's fucking good for you. And I do think it's great that a lot of people have that as a powerful tool to help them in their lives. I think it can do a lot of great things, but I also think it can do a lot of terrible fucking things. A lot of terrible things have happened because of religion.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, religion has been tainted, man. And I could see where, hey man, I grew up in the worst kind of religion, dude. Like with cults, like some shit that would just blow your mind. And if
religion?
It was just growing up the way that I grew up. You know how we talked about earlier, Matt and I were talking about jujitsu, and I coach sometimes, and and how we train the kids or discipline the kids when they mess up. Like I was saying, one of the coaches had told one of the kids, "Hey man, if you guys are dicking around, then you can do push-ups for 5 minutes while we roll." And that's what he made him do. But Matt had said that they had implemented a new system, which wasn't to. It was
at my gym.
Yeah, at his gym.
We do it differently.
They have like a strike 3, they have a whole strike 3 system, whereas ours is kind of, to Matt's point, it's like demonizing exercise. So when you think about it, like if we're making them do push-ups, when they're like 15, 20 years old, exercise, they're thinking, oh God, I got to do fucking push-ups. I used to have this coach that used to make me do push-ups, and I think that's with religion too. And when I was growing up, it was shown,
that force versus power thing. Yeah.
It was forced, man. And the way it's not even just that, it's the way that it was presented to me. It was the people who presented it and fed it to me, and really the only thing that made it, sort of like pure to me and installed was like my mother, and she was the one that was bringing me to these weird places, but like she believed in them and whatever. And somehow I always circled back to religion, but I always fought it too. I always fought religion. Like I didn't want to take that step. I always felt like I was toeing the line, and I want to do this, I want to party, I want to do this. But then you have the other side of the line where like, just come on, man, take a step over, kind of take a step over. But like to Matt, like what I think with like, asking Matt is like, hey, did that happen to you Like when you were younger, to where you're just like, it was presented to you wrong, and it's just like, it's not my thing, and
I do think there was some of that, but also like my dad wasn't religious, and so it wasn't like necessarily forced on me, but it was like, my mom, like she went to like a little bit like you're talking about, Roddy, was like a little bit cultish, like just a whack job church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when I think about church, I see like the churches around here. I live in Columbus, Ohio, big, gigantic churches, and like they have fun, and like my ex-wife brings my daughter to church. She loves going. She has fun. Like my church was fucking miserable.
Oh God, it was boring.
Like we sit there and just listen, and
I taught myself how to
sleep. What's this guy
with my
going
eyes
on
open.
about, bro? Like, he talk about like you shouldn't lust women. And I'm like, bro, I kind of feel lustful towards women, man. Why?
Yeah.
Like,
well, they demonized everything. They, you, as a boy, especially as a kid, you're so as a young man and going through stuff, and then you have people saying, "Oh, if you look at the women like that, or if you fornicate," and then you're getting boners and shit in class because of your teacher and stuff. And you're like, "Am I going to hell?" And then you're jacking off at home, and you're like, "Oh shit, man, I'm going to fucking hell." That's like the third time today. So you're like, like it's
and like as you're doing it, you're like, all right, I'll take hell
God,
for this.
Forgive me, God. You're just like, I mean, that's a hard thing to go through. And I grew up like, in a single, like my mom raised me. So it's just like, you don't have any, you're getting spoon fed all this stuff by this, these pastors that are just like, that are whack jobs themselves. And I think a lot of people, they'll steer clear of religion because of the false narrative of it, because of the false narrative of how Christ was. The Bible is a very confusing. I fight with the Bible all the time. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And honestly, not to go to a completely different, like, rabbit hole, but like all this stuff of this coming of age with these, alien discovery. No, rabbit hole, going down going down like a rabbit hole. But like, like the Bible, and then now you're hearing about all this, these aliens and like Bob Lazar's new movie, and I'm totally into that. I'm totally into like, I think there's definitely stuff here, and like it's definitely walking amongst us. But that makes you even fight a little bit harder with like faith and like this. You're like, if there's a God, then why is everything so quiet? And why don't we know about this? Why doesn't he speak to us like he spoke to, like Moses or, Christ or David, or maybe he is, and they just heard him better than us. So I just think, I think it's hard.
See Vidal's gears turning over there.
I'm taking it all in.
I see your gears turning, bro.
Yeah, I'm just taking it all in. I mean, for the sake of like the general viewers, and for the sake of all of us, I think it's good to talk about this, and I think it's also good to pivot off of this at some point, but just to let it naturally flow as well. That's just my opinion. But my gears are turning because everything you're saying is right, and I'm accepting it. But like, for me, like, it's all about experience. And I've learned this about believers and non-believers. Like, you can't tell a non-believer anything about what I experience and expect them to believe it if they've never experienced it. You can't.
Right.
That's like
vice versa.
Like, yeah, that's like, to be funny here, that's like a gay guy trying to, like, I don't know if you ever had a gay guy, like, how do you know you're not gay unless you suck a dick? It's like, are you fucking serious, bro? It's like, how do I know I'm not how do I know I don't like bestiality unless I fuck a cow? Like, come on, bro. Like, really?
Yeah.
You don't have any boundaries, man? Right?
I'd probably rather do that than suck a dick.
Oh, God.
Totally. Holy cow.
If I got the choice, bro.
Bro, I like milk. I like whey protein. I like hamburgers.
Yeah,
I like psilocybin.
Fair.
But anyway, it's like, I do want to get to the trauma responses here in a little bit, which this is interesting because this like goes back to your mom. To me, this as a therapist, I'm like, okay, psychoanalyzing, like your mom, forcing it on your mom, being cultic. It's like, it's ugh. Like I had that experience with religion. Ugh. And I want you to know this, bro. In the Bible, Christ says, if the world hates you, I want you to know that the world hated me first. And he goes on to talk a lot about this. It's one of my favorite verses. It's very, very long. And then he goes, at the end of it, he goes, and again, if the world hates you, know that it hated me first, and the world hated me without reason. Right? Without reason. And like when you think about all the innocent people in the world that don't do any harm to people, and they are really, 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 really loving people, and like they're being destroyed, they're being murdered, they're being raped, tortured, etc. You're like, how could there be a God? You know what I mean? But that's not God, that's the devil. And that's exactly what the devil did. The devil created religion. Christ was murdered. He was tortured and murdered because he went against religion. And to me, what religion is, it's like the devil, the deceiver, taking truth. Imagine truth as a straight line. You keep saying universe, Matt. Do you know what universe means?
One verse.
One word, exactly. Yeah. One word. And the study of cymatics is a science. Have you ever heard of cymatics? Fuck, you're going to love it as a fucking musician, dude. You're going to love it. Cymatics is the study of sound. And what they learned about sound is that all sound has frequency. All physical matter has frequency. This book has a frequency.
Right.
And all frequency has sacred geometrical shapes they create. So every time you play, let's say 432, if you had take a bowl and put sand in the bowl, put it on top of a speaker and play 432 hertz. Every single time, immediately once you hit play, the sand, boom, takes a shape.
Yeah. I've seen this before. Yeah.
That, my friend, is proof of what the Bible says when God spoke a word, created the universe. The fucking words that are said from my mouth, your mouth, the energy that is behind it, the intention behind it, the value that behind it, it creates its own creation or co-creation. Sure. And so when we analyze what we're talking about here, about religion, okay, it's like there was Judaism, then there was Christianity, then there was Islam, and if you go back like way deeper than that, there was Enki, there was Lil, all right? And people are like confused, like, well, what do we know is true, bro? It's all fucking true. It's all true. It's just told in different ways, right? So like I think that Hinduism has truth to it. I think that Buddhism has truth to it. But I think that the point we're all missing here is that there is a creator of the creations, and that creator loves us, and that creator came down and became a human. But again, I'm not going to sit here and push that. What I do want to pivot off of that, though, is say this, is that you have Judaism, you have Christianity, you have Islam, and these are the three main religions that are causing the most murder, the most death of the fucking world. And it's like, at one point, when does that stop? It stops when there's a realization. And the realization is what reveals what is real. And that's the last chapter in the book of Revelations. And I'd like to have this conversation about this another fucking time. But I want to pivot off of that. And Ruddy, you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Matt, you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. But fight, okay?
Well, let me say this real quick. So first, like you were saying, I think I may have explained it a little bit poorly. I mean, not to harp on this for too long, but like my experience with religion growing up, it wasn't like some terrible thing. I was just bored as fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like my mom didn't like force it on me. Like she preached it constantly. But I don't consider that being forced on us. She believed it, and she still believes it very strongly, right? Which is fair. But I wouldn't say it was forced on me.
Yeah.
Because again, my dad was on the opposite end of the spectrum. And I mean, I like he was a believer and shit, but he was just like, his one day off was Sunday. He's like, I'm not fucking
football.
I'm sitting here. Yeah, I want to watch my fucking football and have a Bud Light. Like, relax, very old school conservative. And then, funny enough, that we were mentioning Phil earlier and vulgar display of power and shit. That was actually the first time when I heard, I'm trying to remember which song. I think it was By Demons Be Driven, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. I believe it was that song. That was the first time I'd ever questioned in it. Because before that, I was just like, well, this is, it's all been taught, right? I grew up in a very, very small town, population of 100 people. I didn't see, like, I hadn't been to, I never seen a skyscraper until I was over 20 years old, right? So like, my worldview was like very, very small. But anyway, I heard that album, and the one line he said, I call no one my father is no closer than a stranger. And I was like, fuck. Like, I've been calling this dude my father the whole time. Like,
that's fucking hostile.
Are fucking hostile. That's it.
Call
Yeah.
out on our Father who's no
Yeah.
blessed than a stranger.
Yeah. Fucking hostile, not by demons be driven. But anyway, the point is, it got me. Then I just started questioning, and I said, okay, well, being from such a small town, like I don't, it's not like I had input. I could go research things or ask a bunch of people. So I just did kind of my own mental view of myself, right? I just kind of laid everything out, started from absolute zero. And I was like, okay, was this created? Well, I don't really know. Okay. But let's say there was a creator. Well, who created him? I was like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. So let's move on to the next. You're right. So, and I ended up years and years of, not like dwelling on it, but thinking about it occasionally, different things like this, just try to critically think about it and not have any bias. And eventually I was like, but I don't fucking know. And I'm not going to know. And that's cool. Like, it's okay. So then the way that I kind of ended it all was like, okay, a lot of people, I believe everybody needs to have meaning in their life, right? And I believe a lot of people search for meaning. I think this is a standard thing that humans do. When I have a worldview as I do, I believe I get to create my own meaning, right? So I get to find whatever I want and attach some meaning to that. And that's what makes it so beautiful, because now I get to decide what carries meaning. And I think when a lot of people, when they get too attached to religion, they forget about that. They forget that anything can have meaning for them. They forget that they can grab meaning anywhere, and they stick with the single meaning is what this book says, or, what God says to them, or, whatever. Right. And they're like, okay, well, this is my meaning of life. And for me, and for, what I think is a healthy way for people to live, is like, okay, life has no meaning. That's great, because I get to decide what the fuck that meaning is. And I think it's self-empowering. And I think it's a way to, I don't know, it's a way to make life still meaningful, right? I guess that's a simple way to say it. Like, it keeps a meaning in life, because I get to decide what that is. And more than anything, it's self-empowering. And that's something that, coming from the situation that I came up in as my childhood, coming from the very small town, I had to find that, because my life view was that, like, you're going to live in this small town and you're really a nobody, and you shouldn't have any ambition, and, work minimum wage or whatever, work your job for someone else, get your paycheck, get your Bud Light on the weekend, and everything's cool. Right. So I was like, okay, well, I have to find something beyond that, or that's the way my life is going to end up being.
Exactly.
So that's kind of a long rant, but that's the point of
Bro,
just
you can't
in
rant
response to
longer
what
than
you were
me.
saying. That's, that's kind of how I ended on that situation, on where my worldview is. And that's what I said. I totally respect, like, everybody's views. For one, as long as they don't push on others, right? Because I think that could just be, it's not, I don't care if they do that, but it's just annoying. And for two, if they get extreme with it, with like Islamic extremists, or, is kind of the popular one that we all see, right? Like, it can certainly be a problem, but anything could be extreme, right? Like, if if my meaning is, like, one of my biggest meanings now is like being a coach and helping others at my gym, right? If I take that too extreme, like, then that's going to be negative too, right? And I think that's where, won't even get into all that, but anything in too extreme on that can be a problem.
Exactly. Ruddy,
Yes, sir.
what do you think?
No, I love it. Like, that's just open and honesty, and it's just real. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong. You never know when somebody's journey is going to start with. And I think religion too, it's just religion's religion. It's not, I'm not religious. I'll mess around with Matt every once in a while and say something to him. He's like, dude, I don't believe in that. But like, I know Matt well enough from hanging out with them that he's like a really good person, and he's good. And I've seen him with like the people that work for him. I've seen him around his kids, I've seen him around his girlfriend, and that like he's a really good guy. He's somebody you want to hang out with. Like my circle of friends, I'm very particular about it. Matt and I met through somebody else, and I was training at Matt's school while I was in Ohio. But, he's just like, he was fun to hang out with. And like, he's just one of those guys, like, this is a good guy. He's a good person. He's not, and I don't think.
And that brings up, not to cut you off, Roddy, but that brings up, we don't have to go deep down this rabbit hole, but that brings up, the moral relativism and, what is the moral authority? Because that's like one of the Christian arguments or religious arguments is like, if there was no Bible, there'd be no morals, blah, blah, blah. And so, but that gets a deep, deep fucking rabbit hole right there.
Well, but that's what I mean. That's why I struggle with the Bible sometimes, man. I feel like it's like, like I was just listening to a podcast on the way over here on the book of Enoch through like American Alchemist. I think that's the podcast. But like
Enoch's fucking awesome.
It's like if you've never read Enoch, Matt, I mean, that would be right up your alley, dude. Dude, that
explains everything. Aliens, demons.
I mean, it's just so cool. It's so cool. But like back to the point, Matt, you were talking about religion and like Muslims and Christians killing each other. But I don't think it's Muslims and Christians killing each other. I think it's governments killing each other. I think that like if you sat in a room like with a bunch of Muslims in a different country, that
there's a lot of governments in other countries that are based on religion though, and use it as control of power.
They use it as control of power. Yeah. But like you and I, like if I'm like I know a lot of Muslims, that like I train with in jiu-jitsu. I don't have a problem with them.
Same. My next door neighbor's Muslim. I have a lot of Muslims that are great.
And they're beautiful people. I mean, I have a crucifix that I tattoo on my arm.
Those are American. But those are also American Muslims. Like I've also been overseas in the Middle East, particularly, and I've seen the way they are over there. And it is very, very different. Because
their brain, even on the Christian level, though, it's not just Muslims. It's like Christians in different areas are brainwashed into this extreme. It's extreme. I know we're at this thing with Iran right now, not to bring that up, but like, before I met my wife, I dated an Iranian woman that was here from Iran. And I mean, super cool chick, fun to hang with, loved Americans, loved our country, nothing bad to say. I'd hung out with her and her friends on several different occasions, guys too. And it was always just real chill, man. The people are beautiful, dude. It's the governments that fuck everything up. And that's including America. It's like it's all so polluted. It's also just toxic.
There's also a lot of them that the government recruits their military based off the religion.
Oh yeah. And it's extreme.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I said. Extreme on any end it can be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going into any military, at some point you have to have a moral compass of what's going on and being like, okay, this isn't what I signed up for, in terms of, whatever. But I don't know, man. I don't
know if anybody'd sign up for the military if they understood the morals. Once
you get down into it.
Humans are easily programmable.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's why hypnotherapy works, right? Because we're fucking neuroplastic little fuckers.
Flesh bags.
What I do is what the Bible tells us to do. The Bible tells you what to do and why to do it, but it doesn't tell you how to do it. Now, if you take the word how has the letters H-O-W. Think of this, guys. Who, what, where, when, why, how. How is always last for a reason. Who, what, where, why, when, how. But it starts with who, and it ends with how. They're the same letters. W-H-O is who, H-O-W is how. Again, only somebody like me, like autistic, ADHD, whatever, can even see that, right? Who is the how? Who you are is how you do it, right? Who you are is how you get it done. And so if someone or something is conditioning your mind to think and feel a certain way, then you're going to act, create, and attract based upon the emotions and thoughts that were implemented into your mind against your will. Make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what I tell people is like, okay, just for like 3-part in the Bible is, okay, Christ says renew your mind. He wants you to have a pure mind. He wants you to have a good mind. He doesn't want to punish you. He doesn't want you to have an unhappy life. No, he wants you to love. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to be respectful, peaceful, joyful, right? Fair, justice, justified, right? And that's what he means by renew your mind. Now, the way you renew your mind is you take every thought captive. There's over 60,000 random thoughts a day. Taking every thought captive. What does that mean? That means to think of a thought. If it's worth it, you hold it. If it's not, you let it go. It's the whole idea of forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so to forgive is to give for. Flip the words. To forgive is to give for. Most people don't know what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is to forgive the bad so you can take the good, give for the good. So when you forgive, you give for. Forgive to give for. Forgive to give for. And when I realized that, I started teaching everybody. I'm like, wow, forgiveness is easy. I forgave my relative who murdered my grandfather. I forgave this dude that murdered my brother who I named, which that's an interesting story. I'll tell you about that later. But going back to it, man, is that the government, okay, is literally mind control. Govern means control, meant means mind.
Mm-hmm.
And your sister is arguing with my brother Ryan and arguing with guys online because they're like, you said on the Frank Yeager podcast that government, the word government means mind control, and you are false. The word govern, yes, means control, and the word meant, yes, means mind. But when you put them together, it means something different. Like, okay, what does it mean? And they said, it means to steer or direct people or a state. And I go, you guys think I'm stupid?
Right.
Like, you guys think I'm stupid? To steer or direct people or state. What is a state? A state is a collection of people. What are people? People are individuals. Yeah, okay. But what do they all fucking have? A mind. How do you direct or steer anybody unless you're influencing their mind? How do you direct or steer a people to become a state and to believe what you want them to believe if you're not steering and directing their fucking minds, you fucking idiots?
I'm right there with you, homie.
Like, these guys literally fought with me and told me that I was retarded and I had CTE.
On that note, have you ever seen the documentary, The Century of the Self?
No, but I will.
Write that motherfucker down. Did you watch it, Roddy? I just told him about it a couple weeks ago.
I haven't watched it yet.
Bro.
Century of the Self or Century?
Century of the Self. It's only on YouTube. It's the only place I ever found it. It's like 4 1-hour parts. But that's the whole point of it, is how the government controls the mind. And there was a dude, Edward Bernays, who was
Fuck Edward Bernays.
Okay, you already know who he is. Yeah. So Edward Bernays was the founder of public relations, PR, propaganda, and he was the one who started all this shit. And he was the nephew of what's the fucking philosopher?
Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud. Yeah, I said Nietzsche last time, but it's Sigmund Freud. Yeah.
I'm loving this. Keep going.
Yeah, so you know some of the basics here already, bro. Like, you'll fucking dig this because it explains how it operates and how he came into power, so to speak, you know, and some of the experiments they did early on. Like, one of the cool ones, you know, an interesting one was, you know, what they were worried about, you know, how he came up was what they were worried about in the 30s. I believe it was the 30s, right along the Great Depression times, the Industrial Revolution. They're producing all this stuff. Say you got a couch and they're like, well, once we make 1 million couches, there's 1 million people in America. We make 1 million couches. Everybody has a fucking couch. We can't make any more couches. So Edward Bernays comes along and says, well, you got to make a couch that they want, not a couch that they need. They got the couch that they need. He did this with the cars. Okay, that's probably a better example, right? Where everybody had a car. And he's like, okay, well, how about we put a beautiful woman in this car? And now motherfuckers want that car. Mm-hmm. They got a car that they need. They got what they need. But now they want this. And now everybody's going out and buying that fucking car. And we see it everywhere today, right?
Oh, yeah.
How much shit do we have that we don't need?
Gosh.
You know, you just made me realize, bro. What is this action right here? You're talking about couches.
Right.
Reclining. Couches didn't recline at first.
Right.
Why do you think he wanted them to have a couch they wanted? He wanted them to recline.
Chill.
He wanted
Relax,
them
bro.
to relax. So when they're
Yeah.
watching the TV, which is
It's a
called
relaxed mind, like a hypnotherapist mind. Yeah.
television programming.
Mhm.
Television programming.
Mhm.
Recline, relax, and be.
And then they could just put more advertisements for their cars and all this other shit.
Obey.
And obey and do what you're told. And now here we are today, all a product of fucking Edward Bernays, bro. We all
Check
are.
this, dude. Check this
I'm
out.
gonna
You got
watch
me
that
going.
this
I
week.
start taking notes. Okay. Start taking notes. Okay, so Sigmund Freud is the father of modern day psychology.
Yeah.
Modern day psychoanalysis.
Yeah, psychoanalysis.
Psychoanalysis. We'll get into that later, okay? But Sigmund Freud, even though he was a satanic pedophile, which, by the way, and I'm going to say this, I have nothing against actual Jews. I have a problem with people that say they are Jewish or they're Muslim or they're Christian, but they don't actually practice it. It's like saying you're a cop, but you're out fucking strippers and fucking stealing drugs off of the guy that you're busting.
Well, I know
It's the
some
same
cops
shit,
like
dude.
that too.
What'd you say?
Still technically a cop, but
Yeah, right. So the point about it is like, when you're inauthentic, you're just doing it wrong, right? So like this guy that came at me on the comment sections on Frankie Edgar's post of the podcast, started to poke fun at me because I talked about Edward Bernays, I talked about Sigmund Freud, and I started telling the truth. He was like, "Oh, you're false," blah, 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 blah. In his profile, it says psychiatrist, proud Jew. And again, I have nothing against real Jews. I have nothing against real Christians. I have nothing against real Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against real people. But, like, okay, real Jews are respectful. Real Christians, real Muslims are respectful. Okay, number one. But then number two, the guy is a proud Jew and he's a psychiatrist. Okay, so let's talk about psychology. Psychology was recently invented. It was recently invented. Why? Because it's a form of fucking mind control, right? They don't want us, Matt, to know that we are souls. They don't want us to know that we are spirits. Why? Because then we know that we are immortal. Ah, here you go. I might convert you here. When you realize you are immortal, you have no fear of death because you know you never die. And if they can't scare you with the fear of death, they can't scare you with anything. Therefore, they can't control you. If they can't control you, now they gotta go work for what they want. If they can't control you, now you will usurp your master. Right? Which is the whole idea of money, because this all is the financial system. We'll talk about this one later. But I want to go back to Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, even though he was a satanic pedophile, created the concept of conscious, subconscious, unconscious mind. What does that mean? Conscious mind is you. You're the consciousness. You control only 5% of your brain. There's a reason why we have eyes, nose, and mouth here in the front of our brain. This is the cockpit. We are the pilot. Okay? We, the soul, we're the conscious energy, aware of itself. We are the pilot. And we have what no other creature on earth has, Matt. No other creature on earth has an imagination. Out of the billions of creatures on earth, we have imagination. Let's just reference the Bible here. God says, I created man in my image and my likeness. Image means copy. Likeness means character. And his character is talking about his love and respect and all the good, right? So if we were to use our imagination to create goodness and love, we wouldn't have the wars. We wouldn't have all these different fucking religions. We wouldn't have all these fucking different governments. But because they know this and because they know we don't know this, in general, what they use is this against us. So Sigmund Freud created consciousness, concept of conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind. Conscious mind, what you're aware of, what you're intentionally thinking, what you're choosing to do with awareness. Subconscious mind is the gateway between physical reality, metaphysical reality, physical reality, spiritual reality. And the subconscious mind is the real mind. Because it is when you're in that state of flow, that is when you calm down, and that is when you're able to focus. So the power of the subconscious state, flow state, is you're calm and focused. And when you're calm and focused, you can think of one thought at a time. Okay? So prayer is speaking Prayer is requesting. Prayer is giving thanks. Prayer is talking to God. God's voicemail is always open. Meditation is clearing your mind in silence and allowing yourself to receive all that you're projecting. So think of prayer as a projection. Ring, ring. Hello, Matt. Matt talks back to me. I can hear him. That's meditation, right? So how we receive messages is dependent upon how full our voicemail is. If your voicemail is full, you're not going to receive the message. And so they know this. So what they did was they created the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind concept. The unconscious mind is 95% of your brain activity. The unconscious mind has one goal, survival. One goal, survival. That's what the unconscious mind does. So the unconscious mind is controlling your respiratory system, your blood circulation. It's controlling your digestion. It's controlling your immunity. It's controlling all these factors, all these operations that are going on so you don't have to think about them. Now, because of that, because your unconscious mind is in survival mode, your unconscious mind is telling your subconscious and conscious mind to always scan for what? For threats, for fear, 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 fear. And when you're always looking for fear and threats, because you're in survival mode, you're always thinking the worst. So you're always feeling the worst. You're always doing the worst. And you're always creating and attracting the worst. Whether you realize it or not, because there's conscious thought and then there's unconscious thought. Now, they know this. They knew this. Edward Bernays was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. He took the research of the hypnotherapy. He took the research of hypnosis and he sold it to who? The bankers. He sold the research to the bankers. And the bankers are all fake you-know-whos. It rhymes with whos. They're fake. They're not real. They're not real ones. And they control the world with the money. And because they control the world with the money, they control telecommunications. Now, before we can talk about telecommunications, telephones, televisions, there was a word. Before all those words, before there was television, before there was telephones, there was telepathy. Telepathy. Before there was language, the Bible talks about, before there was language, we all talked to each other with thoughts, intuition, which is why I'm good at what I do, because I'm very intuitive. And so, go back to what Edward Bernays did. He sold the research to the bankers. What did the bankers do? You know this from the documentary. The very first fucking act the bankers did with their research, they go, oh, this hypnosis is how you program people's minds. It works. It's how you can change a person's programming, how they think, how they feel, how they act. They can change what they create, and they can change what they attract. The government now just comes out with, hey, gateway method. What's the gateway method? It's what I'm teaching you right now. It's what I'm telling you about right now. The gateway method is hypnotherapy. It's activating your subconscious mind to think of a thought, to feel it, and to act in a way that is going to create and attract the reality you want. It's manifesting. It's the law of attraction in action. What I do is a law of attraction in action. They knew this. And so what they did is they sold their research to the bankers, and the bankers go, oh, let's take the hypnosis out of the therapy. And let's call it psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is psychotic because you go to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist goes, okay, Max, why are you here today? Oh, I have depression and anxiety, and I'm thinking about killing myself. And they take these notes and they pretend like they care. Oh, okay. Well, here's the program. You're going to come to me once a week for the next year, and we're going to renew your sessions every year until these symptoms get better. And also, we're going to prescribe you Xanax, which is going to help with your anxiety. And on top of that, we're going to prescribe Prozac. And then you might ask yourself, well, or ask him, what are the side effects? And it's like, well, the very top side effect might be suicidal depression. You're like, but right. I fucking came here for suicidal depression, right? They're drug dealers. The word pharmaceutical comes from pharmakia. Pharmakia is Greek for sorcery, witchcraft, right? Psychology is a term that is new. What does psychology replace? Or what are they trying to replace? They're trying to replace spirituality with psychology. And they took hypnosis out of psychology. Why? Because it works. A patient cured is a customer lost. A patient cured is a customer lost. I'll say it again. A patient cured is a customer lost. So the reason why they don't want us to know hypnosis is because once we start tapping into our own subconscious mind, we realize we really are spiritual. We really are immortal. There's no reason to be afraid. And then we start breaking out of their systems, out of their matrix. And when you get out of their matrix, you start to realize that you can create reality with just thinking about it. And they don't want you to do that because then you're no longer a slave to their system. So let's go back to what the bankers did with the fucking research. They took the hypnosis, they separated it from hypnotherapy. They created psychoanalysis. Now people are stuck with psychotherapists. They're stuck with psychoanalysis. They're stuck with fucking pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of their life until they realize what I realized. That's not the way. This is the way. But what did the bankers do? They took hypnosis and they created commercialism. They created television advertisements. What's the first television advertisement they created with hypnosis?
I don't know. Let's hear it.
Cigarette ads. They convinced the general public that smoking cigarettes was cool, and they used a woman in the ads to do it. A blonde-haired woman would walk by these men who are working on construction, and she'd be smoking a cigarette. She'd have her top, her boobies were basically out. And she'd be like, and the guys were like, oh.
Do you know what the cigarettes represented to women back then?
A dick.
Yeah, that's in the documentary, man. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like a freedom of dick type
Oral
thing. I forget what they
fixation.
called it. Yeah,
Oral
or fixation. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, with that said, do you know what the number one reason why people go to hypnotherapists for is?
Smoking.
I don't.
To quit smoking.
Smoking, yeah.
They create the problem and then they create the solution.
Yeah, smart.
So going back to what I said, bro, what Bible is missing, Bible tells you what to do and why to do it. It doesn't necessarily explain how, which he said Enoch is awesome because Enoch explains a lot more details of what to do. But I truly feel like as time progressed, they took all this hypnosis, they took all these truths, they took how to control your mind for yourself out of it. And now they made us a fucking slave race. And we were designed to be a slave race from the fucking beginning. The fallen angels, aliens, demons, right? The fallen angels, if you read Enoch, they came down here. Lucifer, his name was Satan. Satan's original name was Lucifer. Lucifer in the book of Enoch, his name is Shamyaza. Sounds like shamanism, doesn't it? Shamyaza led all the 6 other angels down here. And what they did is they actually raped the women of earth. So in the book of Genesis and the book of Enoch, they correlate. It says God's children came to earth and mated with the daughters of man and saw that they were fair. Fair. If you're traveling through outer space and you're a physical being, you're away from sunlight. What color are creatures at the bottom of the ocean? What color are creatures in caves where there is no light? They're fucking pale or they're translucent. Right? Now, if you're a spiritual being, that means you're a being of light. Right? The sun gives us melanin. Melanin gives us color. So the most abundant blood type on Earth, dude, I can go on, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to fucking. We can do this another time. The most abundant blood form on Earth is typopositive. Typopositive. What is that? The rhesus protein is the Rh factor. The Rh factor means rhesus protein. There's a rhesus monkey. So yes, most, not all, most humans have a relation to the rhesus monkey. It's proven in the DNA. Most. I have a blood type known as the Basque blood. The Basque people are the most rare people on Earth. Nobody knows where their language comes from. Nobody knows where their fucking DNA comes from. And I just happen to be related to all the presidents. And all the presidents happen to be related to each other. And I had a hunch. Bill Clinton left his semen on Monica Lewinsky's dress. My hunch was, what if all the presidents are the most rare blood form? What's the most rare blood form on Earth? It's AB negative. AB negative. Missing the monkey protein. It's A and B, the most rare blood types, together without the rhesus protein. I did my research. Bill Clinton is, in fact, AB negative.
Damn.
So what's my point?
There's a lot of crazy shit, bro.
Yeah, dude, going back to it is we have been hypnotized to believe in the psychology industry. But when you go back to the word spirit means breath. And you said it earlier, plants have what in it? Plants are psychedelic. Plants have minds of their own. Plants have spirits in them. This is proven. This is real. Why? Because DMT is in all these plants. DMT is in blades of grass. Cows eat the grass, shit it out. The sun and the dew of the morning hit the cow shit and create psilocybin within minutes. and then you eat the psilocybin and you get the DMT from the psilocybin. Now you talked about LSD. Blow your fucking minds right here. LSD was accidentally found by the research on mushrooms. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that by way of the experimentation, Ruddy, this is crazy, the experimentation of LSD and mushrooms is what actually created psychology today? The psychiatry industry was designed off of the research of Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud, and the experimentation of mushrooms and LSD. Trippy.
Motherfucker.
And now just recently, Donald Trump and them are like, oh, we're gonna release psychedelics.
Yeah. I mean, I get, yeah, good or bad, right? I don't know.
So, what do you think about that?
Fuck, my mind's kind of blown right now, bro.
It's a lot to digest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like trying to put all the puzzle pieces together.
Take some DMT just to digest that so it could put it all together. But it's all true. I mean, a lot of it makes sense. You know, mind control, CIA. They were doing that stuff way back when. You know, LSD. Those were all trials with that. It all kind of goes hand in hand.
You got to get back to me after you watch this documentary because it goes into so much of this shit that you're talking about, bro. And it's like you're basically saying the documentary right now.
Oh, good. I was hoping I didn't lose you guys.
And funny enough, by the fourth episode, there's 4 60-minute episodes, it gets into how Bernays was working with Bill Clinton.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like that was like one of the last people he worked with because originally it was about manufacturing, making money, and the corporations and this shit, and then obviously like it trickled over into politics, and then Bill Clinton was one of his boys, man.
Wow.
Your cousin.
Bill's Kevin Bacon, like you're 6 people away from Kevin Bacon.
So this is going to go deeper. So Hillary Clinton is from Scranton. Hillary Clinton's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I was born an hour south of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Okay? Fucking, who was the previous president? I don't know that fucking goofy. Joe Biden. Joe Biden was also born in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
That was his big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean to tell me those two aren't related? Come on. Right? So I believe that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are related, and they don't actually like each other like that. Like they were basically probably forced to have Chelsea. Right?
Dude. There's so much crazy shit in the world, bro. It gets so deep, man. I think we could go on for hours about this shit. Obviously, you can. I can see like that you have your own podcast, though, right? Like let's make sure we plug that shit. So, because obviously, like you got a lot to say.
Yeah, dude. So the one thing I do want to touch on, because you've mentioned it, is so you know about the whole Epstein files, you know about Pizzagate and all that stuff.
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I had, and I'm not going to say his name out there. He didn't sign a document with me, so technically it's not illegal to do this, but I'm not going to do this out of respect. But I have a voicemail from this client that I did one session on. And he confided in me, and you could all look this up. So it's not like this is hidden knowledge. It's all on Google, right? So you can find out his name by just typing in who found Hillary Clinton's laptop. My client that came to me confided in me that he was the one that was working for the DOJ or whatever, and he's the one that was being sued by Hillary Clinton because he discovered her laptop and turned it in, which opened up the whole Benghazi thing. And it opened up the whole Benghazi thing. By opening up the whole Benghazi emails, it opened up the Pizzagate emails because they found Uba Abedin's husband's computer. Right? And this all led to the Epstein files. That's another story I'll tell you later. But basically, Hillary Clinton's my cousin, and the fucking guy that fucking found her laptop was my fucking client. How shit comes full circle is insane.
That is wild, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to have you on again, man. Like it's so much crazy shit. I mean, obviously we go on for hours, but we'll have to do it again, man. Yeah, it's fascinating stuff, and it's cool. But plug your podcast. I know you said you got a podcast, so.
It's not official. I've played around with actually doing it, but like it's called VIP Podcast, so Vital Information Podcast. Vital, my last name, Information Podcast. I like to speak about, entertaining subjects, educational subjects, but empowering most importantly. When you entertain people, you get them to like you. When you educate them, you get them to trust you. If they like you and you trust you, you can empower them to follow you. So if you're interested in following me, it's at I.am.vital, V as in Victor, I, D as in David, A-L on Instagram. My hypnotherapy website is Vidal, Vidal, not T, D as in David, Vidal, hypnosis.com if you're interested in a free hypnosis consultation. And then other than that, again, the podcast will be VIP, and I'd love to have you on. Love to have you on and continue this.
Yeah, and we'll have to do that hypnotherapy session, man. That sounds interesting. So you got a lot of fascinating stuff to say, bro. We'll have to do it again sometime. I think we could get even deeper into some of this stuff. I mean, we went like 3 hours and just
I think it's
really cool stuff,
record.
Man.
It's a record.
Yeah. We're on a lot of the same pages with a lot of things, man. So it's a lot of fun. Great having you on, bro. I hate to even cut it short, to be honest. It's just I feel like I'm cutting it short, but you know, it's been like 3 hours, so
we all got to pee. We all got to pee.
Yeah. So guys, this would be a nice reel.
Oh no, that's very clear pee. If that's pee.
Dude, when you guys were talking, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna be rude and get up. I'm just listening to stuff. So here, guys, let's break.
You're not gonna drink it, are you? You're not one of those. Oh, you're one of those guys.
No, but I am now.
Oh shit!
Hey man, it didn't taste so bad. Loyola Machida told me to do that.
DMT in it.
I just drank my own piss on fucking live fucking video. What the fuck?
We'll definitely have to make that a real. Like, do you feel stronger now? Do you feel like you can go another 2 hours now?
I feel like I'm gonna crane kick fucking Randy Couture.
Hey, if it does that, bro,
I'm just kidding, Randy. I love Randy. Randy's my boy.
All right, my man. Great having you on, brother.
Matt, thanks so much.
We'll do it again for sure.
Yep. And till next time, thank you so much, guys. God bless you all. And whether you believe in them or not, love one another as I've loved you. So thank you so much for having me. Again, Coach Vidal, Cody Vidal, the Knuckle Maniac here fighting May 22nd at the Aquashore Arena in Palm Desert, California against Jomi Escoboza, 10-2. First 185-pound bare knuckle champion in American history is Jomi Escoboza. I am beating him, and then I am fighting Lorenzo of Hunt and winning the championship. And that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line.
Knuckle Maniac.
Keep the horns up, brother. See you, my man.
Thank you,
brother. Later, bros.